Hey folks, and welcome to the Daily Ratings Podcast. It's a show where each week we're going to be sitting down with Vincent Daly to get his thoughts on the latest movies he's been watching, both older films and new releases. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. Vince will give a brief review of the movie, share some thoughts, and of course, then rate the film. The daily ratings are always fair, honest, and most importantly, they're consistent. On today's show, Vince will be rating and reviewing. It's a big one week, folks. I feel the heaviness of this episode here, Vin. It's Nolan week, so we are jumping back to 2000 for Memento, then 2010's Inception, 2020's Tenet, and the big boy of the week, it is newly released The Odyssey. Again, all directed by Chris Nolan. So let's get Nolan in the house. Let's get Vincent Daly in the chair. Hear what he has to say about these films. Stay tuned for the Nolan episode. This is a heavy, I don't know, even more than Spielberg because maybe because he has more films.
Yeah, exactly. This is
and
a big
Disclosure
week.
Day was like womp womp.
Disclosure Day was definitely womp womp. A big week though, Chrissy boy.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad. I mean, we covered Oppenheimer when it came out, but we just didn't pair it like this, and I like
Which
that
is
we're
crazy.
Doing, I don't know. Maybe we're just more comfortable with the podcast as well.
Yeah,
and even if we don't know what we're doing still, we maybe can seem like we are. But no, it was a huge week. How was it? How'd you handle yourself?
Oh my God, it was such an enjoyable week.
Good, okay.
I mean, this was really like a delight to watch all of these movies, Tenet included. I mean, it's just like these were. Everything but Memento was rated already. Well, I'm sorry, Memento and Odyssey. I don't know. I mean, it was just like such an easy watch week because it's just like my mind's made up on so many of these. It was just kind of almost relaxing to watch these movies.
Oh, okay, all right,
and kind of be like, all right, yeah, no, I definitely feel the same way about that. Maybe feel slightly different about that, and kind of go from there.
And okay, so Memento was the easy one because that's the one that Nolan that we haven't covered yet, obviously, except for the new one. And then we were throwing around. What else were we throwing around? How did we land on Inception and Tenet again?
It really. I
felt like it.
Yeah, exactly. I wish there was a master hand, a puppeteering I was doing a little bit better. I was even texting MacD. He was just like, "Oh, interesting, going for the temporal films." I go, honestly, I'll tell you what. I just kind of chose these. They kind of had like a nice 10-year gap between all of them. Yeah, it was. I feel like it was. If there was anything conscious, or at least kind of what I stumbled into with these choices, was Nolan being very deliberate with his narrative structures. Taking a story and putting something else to it. Structuring it in a very different style of skeleton.
I enjoyed watching. Okay, so basically, I just hit Nolan kind of hard somewhat recently.
Okay.
So I didn't watch Memento, but I did go back and watch Inception, Tenet, again, Tenet like 1.5 times. And then, of course, we saw The Odyssey together. Great Dolby cinema experience for us.
Yes.
Really, really solid.
Not 70 millimeter, but I'll tell you, that sound was probably worth it. To not, have the full aspect ratio on the film.
Yes, I will say. I would pick our Dolby. We're lucky enough that AMC close to us has both the faux IMAX, and the Dolby Vision. I would take the Dolby Cinema over the fake IMAX any day. Mm-hmm. And then we do the fact that we have a proper 70 millimeter IMAX close to us. Is we're very lucky to have that. The vast majority of people in the country and in the world don't have that access we do. But one, we do have to drive to it a little bit. It's two, the seats, it's tight in there.
Yeah, what did we see? Brutalist there?
That was the last thing we saw, at least there.
Yeah, it was tight. I remember that.
And if you get in the middle, I arrived late when Dunkirk came out, speaking of Nolan. And one guy got upset with me, and I stepped on his toe, just trying to get past. It's tight, those theaters. So you know what I mean? The ups and downs, but the Dolby, the sound in the Dolby Cinema, wow.
Yeah, and also I'm of the strong belief that like the way that theater is designed and how modern it's designed, unlike that 70 millimeter that we have or the fake IMAX, there's not a bad seat in the house. There's truly not a bad seat. The whole thing is engineered, and obviously that's with as theaters get more and more modern, they'll have that type of approach. But it's it's almost like a premium home theater design on a massive scale.
Yeah, the reason why is you have proper height stadium seating with large seats, which gives you wider aisles, and you just naturally have the sound with the bigger screen.
Exactly.
We're very lucky to have it. Anyway, so that was excellent. Where was I going with that? What I watched and didn't watch. So anyway, I didn't watch Memento. I think I was playing off of your thing. Oh, the connective tissues with Nolan. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I mean, he's made a version of the Odyssey in so many of these films. I really loved going back. Was it Inception I was watching? And it was just like, oh my God, he did the exact same scene in the Odyssey. Like the exact, maybe it must have been Tenet, maybe. And I watched it, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is fantastic. This guy has done this before. It's not like he pulled this shit out of nowhere, that's for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely in the PR circuit, Nolan has been speaking a lot about just like, he has been dancing around this for his entire career as just the nature of storytelling itself as it ties into, Homer's Odyssey. So,
well, and he also wanted to do Troy, and he was set to do Troy.
Oh, really?
And then, yeah.
Wow.
And then he didn't end up doing Troy, and then he didn't. But he's been wanting to do this story legitimately for over 20 years. So it's been on his mind.
Yeah. Well, it is a really big week, folks, because real talk, we got one of the best, if not the best, living directors to cover this week. Yeah. While I don't really consider myself a Nolan film bro, I also can't deny the incredible batting average he has on the site.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't like calling myself a Nolan film bro. I think I might be a Nolan film bro because of, like, he's got really nothing below, like, 70 pretty much.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people who kind of like movies, they watch a Nolan movie and they just love him. And the man becomes an event himself.
Yeah.
Like, the actor no longer really sells the film. And very, very few things can do that other than like social media pushes or basically basic buzz, which always can happen for a film. But the fact that Nolan himself now sells tickets and he himself makes events, it's very cool.
It is.
And everybody's on board. Everybody's a little bit of a Nolan fan for the most part.
Absolutely. There's the naysayers of like, are his movies too loud? Are his movies, deceivingly stupid, and not as intellectual as they feel. A lot of that aspect, I feel like my appreciation of this is that once again, writer-director, one of the best living around right now.
100%.
A writer-director to pay attention to, the reason why we watch those and we keep an eye out for those on the show, folks. And yeah, I mean, just like the track record, I mean, like I was really like looking through all these movies, and we have all of his movies rated on the site, folks, now after this episode. There was just something there. I was just like looking at this, and I was like, I am just like, man, like, how can I even hate? You know what I mean? Like, how can I even,
you gotta give the guy his flowers.
Yeah, there's something here of just, like, all of these movies, you look from movie to movie, and the concepts are so wild, I mean, I love so much about these films, and especially the films we have to cover this week. If I could, I would like to maybe just run down, because we have all of his movies rated. Can I just give kind of the rundown of the scores?
No, not yet. I think we should do that at the very end.
Oh, at the very end, okay.
Once when we have all the scores.
I have the ones that we're rating intentionally, kind of not revealed yet.
I know, but then you can kind of put two and two together.
Okay.
Just maybe don't do that, and we'll wait till everything is actually rated.
All right. I'll save the final rankings.
Okay, because I have my rankings as well.
Oh, okay.
Now, embarrassingly so, I've only seen 9 of Chris Nolan's 13 films.
Listen, I don't think that's embarrassing. What's missing from that? Insomnia?
Batman Begins.
Okay.
And The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
I've seen bits and pieces.
Not bad.
I've seen bits and pieces.
I'll tell you what, Batman Begins, this is a movie like the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy where it's like you let a year go by and it just compounds. The fan appreciation of Batman Begins is like
I haven't seen The Prestige either.
Okay. That's another one where it's like people
That's
call
getting-
that Nolan's his best movie.
He's getting some odd love
Yeah.
to the point where I really want to watch that now.
It's a weird cycle of just like how time passes. We commented on this with the Star Wars prequels, where it's just like generations pass and temperatures, thoughts entirely switch on movies.
It really does. And I think Nolan will continue to be that person for all these films.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, it's because it's so fun to just kind of talk about his films as well and his progression with things. But yeah, okay. So again, only 9 out of 13.
I don't think that's bad at all.
I haven't seen 4 of them. I mean,
I think you've seen the heavy hitters, which matter.
Yeah,
to be frank.
I will say every one of the other films that I have seen of the 9, except for the Odyssey, so 8, I've seen multiple times.
Yeah.
My lowest count is Memento, and I think I've seen that 2.5 times. You know what I mean? So anyway, we'll go through that at the very end.
Okay, I'll save it.
Yeah.
Overall, though, a fantastic week for a fantastic director. I mean, like, this is really, really a delight. This was such a pleasure this week.
So I was trying to think. I was playing with the idea of if you had to break down Chris Nolan into 3. If you had to just 3 things, give me 3 things that define Chris Nolan. This was the 3 I came up with.
Okay.
I'm not saying this is perfect.
Sure.
But here's what. If we have Nolan, you have The Passage of Time, I Need to Get Home, and I Need to Know.
Okay, so maybe specifically Nolan's writing.
Yeah.
Yes. I have to get home. I need to get home.
I need to know The Passage of Time, and I need to get home.
Okay, I like it.
I think so many of his films have one or multiple elements of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably
And here we are, The Odyssey.
Yeah, no, I mean, actually, the 4 movies
Right.
this week that we're covering specifically. Absolutely. That's some good brackets for it. So I would say for the writing, I mean, maybe it's in like 2 lanes because he is a writer and director for all of these. Really kind of blows my mind, kind of coming back to that and like researching, his process with this and all these different things. Actually, Inception is a great idea, great example of that because he wanted to do that like much, much earlier before even doing Batman Begins.
Yeah.
And he structured it as a horror story, but more time in the oven kind of made something a lot more special with that film.
I think he knew he needed to wait a little bit for it, too, in general.
Which is just really interesting.
It's funny because, especially with the Odyssey, there's some horror elements in there. And apparently in the interview, just whether it was today or yesterday, he said he's very interested in potentially his next film being a horror film. We'll see what that really means.
He also is a financial hound. He knows what's going to be successful in the market right now, and horror's hot.
I for some reason, and I really like the guy, and he's very calm in all of his interviews. I don't really believe
he wants to do horror.
He is no, but he's selling a movie.
Yeah.
So any time anyone hits him with what are you doing in the future, what are you working on now, what are you going to work on? Anytime I hear about people talking about controversy with this film, when they bring it up to him, he is going to be as even-keeled, a plain level.
Yes.
And what can I say to the person that's in front of me that I can skate by this, make you feel good, but also I'm not going to give up my cards on any of this.
Of course.
He's very good, very guarded.
A
and
professional.
Gives you, okay, there you go. Yeah, exactly right.
A true professional. Absolutely. But I'm right there with you.
So I don't really believe anything he said. Right.
Right. A true professional is also, like you said, not showing your cards too much. So who really knows? But yeah, in like kind of the 2 lanes of trademarks for him being as a writer, him being as a director, I think director is defined by technical achievement and technical pushes, like a Spielberg, where like the medium itself is advancing. And then writer-wise, it's these narrative structures, this almost like visual outline you can put to a lot of the stories in this film, and I think that's where this week I really kind of zoned in on. Again, not very intentional. I'm stumbling into the conclusion here, my own conclusion, but there is these 4 movies, folks. If you're watching along or you want to watch along in anticipation, maybe when you can finally get a ticket to the 70mm for Odyssey, there's something here of just like how stories are structured, how there is a different type of skeleton to the narrative design in Nolan's films. Really, really appreciated all of these this week.
I think, kind of, but by accident, you did pair 3 really good movies. And the fact that we had the Odyssey to cap it, it was just, this totally makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of works.
Not to mention we're at the year 2000, year 2010, year 2020 for those first 3 films, and it's just like, and they play completely together in so many ways.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about with him being a writer and director, which is very interesting. And, a lot of greats do that. But, well, yes and no, I guess. I always appreciate Nolan for his true love of directing and cinema making, because he does write all of it, and he could be, especially in the interviews for years, could be leaning so much more into that. And I was likening him to, like, there's kind of, sometimes you get rock and roll drummers, and you know them for being rock and roll drummers, and then they get mad at you because they're like, I'm a jazz drummer. I grew up learning jazz. I'm a jazz drummer. And it's just like, all right, well, you're a rock and roll drummer. Just shut up. Nolan doesn't do that. Nolan is like, I'm a director, and he just loves movies.
Right.
I'm glad he doesn't play that game.
Yeah, so true. So true. I also think you're thinking of that thing you do plot line.
No,
which is I'm
thinking of an actual drummer in my head.
Unsettled by me bringing up that thing you do.
Glad I made it into Nolan up.
Yeah, you're right.
Any other thing you want to touch on? Any opening notes to touch on at all? Or
the alternate title is "How many different ways can I misspell the Odyssey?" in my notes.
Oh,
so I was
tripping me up a little bit, huh?
Yeah, really struggling with this. Also, like, might have to hand in my philosophy degree if I misspell it one more time. But no, why don't we get cracking into it? It's going to be a long episode.
It will.
But again, all these movies are so great, so great.
Let's start it light and easy now. This is his second film. It's true. Jump.
Oh, just the lightest bit of isolationist dread of Memento.
It is Memento. The year is 2000. This is his second film coming off of Following, which we covered, which was great. You just take this one away. I'll chime in here or there. Like I said, I didn't watch it this week, but
sure.
I watched it recently. Comfortable enough where I didn't feel like I needed to dive into it again right away.
I'm also with you 100% of, like, these movies are memorable in the way that you remember the twists, the moments that stick with you. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think I would like to think I remembered more than that. Like,
yeah, true. But I feel like that's where they really
with
stand
it for
out.
the episode.
Yeah.
2000 Mementos, please take it away.
Yeah, well, three main reasons why I was excited to watch Memento this week. One is it's one of the shorter movies of Nolan's filmography, so I was just kind of taking it where I could.
Hour 53.
Yeah, right, which is by no extent short. Of course, it's the only film we have unrated on the website this week. After that, all 13 will be rated, and, the implication of where they stand in the rankings. But really, it's because Memento was a movie I saw super young and really never returned to it. I think I owned this on, like, DVD or some point.
We never returned to it.
Yeah, never. It was like a once and done.
Wow.
And maybe that's because it hits on one of my pet peeves of amnesia as, like, the central focus of the entire fucking story. But even before seeing the Odyssey this week, I knew if we were going to kind of discuss Nolan, we needed to dive into his story presentation and the many structured formats you can give to almost kind of visualize that for his films. Memento was arguably the first hook set in audiences to pay attention to his films in that way, and boy, oh boy, it is still a head trip in so many years later. I mean, this is, 26-year-old film. I mean, like, this is, like, still, like, man. I don't know if this was necessarily considered, like, mainstream, a very different world, late 90s cinema kind of going into this, but I couldn't imagine Nolan ever doing anything this ballsy again,
This ballsy?
Oh, yeah. As far as just, like, how broken up the narrative is and how genuinely confusing it is.
Right. You watched Tenet, though, right?
Yeah, so true. A little distracted with John David Washington's bad acting. Memento. It is a twisted psychological conspiracy and truly mind-bending mystery that will make the viewer question the truth of events unfolding right in front of their eyes. It's also one of the first times in my life that I came across the genre description of neo-noir, and returning to it after so many years, its atmosphere of distrust and isolation continues to stand as a wonderful example of that subgenre of neo-noir. We follow Leonard Shelby, played by Guy Pearce, a man whose life is defined by his crippling disability that shapes the very nature of his reality. You see, Leonard is experiencing a rare form of reverse amnesia, making it impossible for him to form new memories, while his traumatic past that caused the condition serves as the foundation for every new day as he wakes up. To navigate such an unthinkable condition, though, you gotta have a system in place. Through a methodical dedication, Leonard uses pictures, notes, and most of all, tattoos to remember each morning, along with his core drive to find his wife's murderer. This vendetta is strange, however, considering that he doesn't remember how long he's been on the hunt, no less if he's enacted in revenge already. His purpose coming from the killer taking away time itself needed to heal from the wound. A goal might give Leonard focus, but the world is a dangerous place, especially when someone so vulnerable can be led down the wrong breadcrumb trail. Like I introduced, this serves as the foundation for one of our director's primary traits, which is, again, kind of creating a very deliberate narrative structure for the viewers to peel apart. Let me tell you, though, Memento jumps in the deep end. You know what I mean? Like, this is his second film, and it's like, okay, it's still, I think, his most challenging.
I mean, really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm really okay. I'm a little surprised by that. I just say.
I mean, I'll talk about it in a second. I feel like I do want to give some training wheels to this for anyone that hasn't seen it.
Yeah, that would be great.
But there, to raw dog this movie is to not pick up on a few key things in the beginning will set you up for kind of a disastrous failure for working with.
I have that in my notes later, where you do have to pay attention to the guy because if you do slip up, I mean, for a lot of stuff he holds your hand enough, but it's not. He's not overly doing it, or he's not making it overly simple where he's explaining everything to you. Yeah. But at the same time, he's not completely leaving you out to dry, but you have to pay attention. Okay, it goes a two-way street. Okay, right. It really is.
I'm making the movie for you. You better watch the movie for me.
And to the point of jumping in with Memento, he does. But I always just want to. I cannot help but think back to Following, where all the DNA, is there.
Absolutely. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Of just like my appreciation of this film skyrocketed because of watching the Following and
cool.
seeing how they're kind of two sides of the same coin in a lot of ways. But as far as Memento in comparison to even his entire career to come, there's a lot here that I feel like in some ways the Achilles heel of these type of movies from Nolan comes with, hey, he technically showed you something in the very, very beginning as the linchpin to what the presentation or this narrative structure is going to be. But then naturally, I mean, I don't think it's unrealistic to say, I kind of forgot about it. Forgot about that detail. So that's where with this, I would like to kind of suggest some training wheels, especially if you haven't seen this one. Even compared to our other films this week specifically, Nolan's narrative structure can usually be summed up in a single line. Inception is a kind of an onion of layers. I will introduce the concept of the onion of action in a moment. Tenet uses the concepts of a palindrome. Even the Odyssey is presented linearly.
Yeah, he can't help himself, can he?
Yeah, he really can't. And thank God, too, because I think that's a great quality. But, man, even after all these years, Memento is a doozy. And just take a look at how fans are still trying to chart and graph this story 25 plus years later. And there's a graph I came across online that's just like, what do you mean? It's been figured out. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you overcomplicating this?
It's
unreal.
Man,
fans are like still theorizing, still unpacking this. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I don't want to throw in the towel on like film discussion, but it's just like, all right, I think we solved it.
I want to say, I think it was Memento. I want to say with this one, because after it came out, it was years after. Because even if it's a little ambiguous, he did kind of like lay out what he thought happened.
Yes.
And I mean, he's the director, so he calls it. And apparently his brother, Jonathan Nolan, who was co-writing on this, told him, don't ever do that again.
Oh, right. He didn't want to
believe it was like, let the audience do their own thing.
Yeah.
You don't tell people what's what if you're going to leave it kind of, ambiguous at the end.
Absolutely. I think I know what you mean, because he drew out a very specific shape. And I feel like that's also spawns of like, a lot of Nolan's this structure, this visual structure I'm referring to, there is a shape that you can imagine. The onion layers of Inception, or a pendulum or a palindrome with Tenet. You know what I mean? These are things that you can like almost visualize to the structure of how things unfold, which I think is one of the best qualities in tackling Nolan's filmography. while this might dip into more of a spoilery explanation that I normally do, let me kind of set this one up for the sake of enjoying it to its fullest, because I feel like you can enjoy this movie so much better. The short pitch here is simple. We're given both black and white and full color scenes throughout the movie, and the only understanding you need to have as kind of guardrails here is that they point in two different directions in time. Black and white is shown chronologically forward, while color is presented in reverse. And though this feels cryptic and honestly hard to wrap your head around long into the runtime, because you almost like, wait, is that how it's working? Especially how details get mixed and, you know, you're playing around in the mystery. If you do pay attention, the very first scene does communicate this to set the stage, and where I personally would not consider it a spoiler. It's just a matter of paying attention very deliberately to
I think that's
that very first
as you said,
scene.
training wheels. I like that. Totally fine.
Exactly.
And he's still messing around with that in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
You know?
Odyssey, Oppenheimer,
with color in black and white.
Absolutely. That's split. I'll even say on the other end of that, there might be an oversimplification for diehard fans, but I strongly believe your watching experience will be 10 times better with a tiny bit of guardrails to it if you haven't tackled this movie yet.
Yeah.
So, like so many films to come out in the late 90s, though, Memento is lightning in a bottle, partly for that story structure, but also what kind of story is told through the eyes of our character. I feel like the reason why this is an instant classic for me personally is how the film breeds a detective narrative organically, because life unfolding for Leonard is an actual mystery. This is a real moment where I feel like I always go back to this example, but with Jurassic Park 1, where there's a match of these characters are scientists and they do scientist stuff.
Oh, okay.
Here, the mystery spawns organically from the story, from the character, because he experiences life as a mystery. This also thrives as a fresh take within the noir genre, within like a detective-style genre, while allowing our character to be anything besides a cop, and the storytelling possibilities to come from that. This condition, believe me, I'll pick a bone with almost any other movie over Amnesia, but because it is so genuinely structured around the amnesia and around that's how we piece together the mystery side by side with our main character, again, lightning in the bottle. While an intentionally confusing experience can be frustrating to watch from time to time, these little blips of reality become something the audience participates with. And I really always love when there is some sort of like participation with the narrative. Personally, I also think this pays off with one of the coolest action beats of all time, around 48 minutes in, where we're blipping into Leonard's consciousness within a chase action scene, which has always stood out to me as like, man, you gotta check out Memento just for that. It's such a cool idea. I also had half a mind to be like, what does Guy Pearce say? He's just like, okay, so I'm in a hotel room. There's a drawer. There's nothing in the drawer. I felt like doing that for the podcast. I was just like, all right, I'm recording with Tom. We're recording the podcast. It's 4 movies this week. Not too bad.
What did you? Can we stop on Guy Pearce for a second?
Yeah. Let's stop on Guy Pearce.
Was he
the coolest man alive? Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. We'll go ahead and take it away. I thought we going to be have the vibes of too bro-y.
Oh, really?
Yeah, too like spacey, like headspacey, bro-ish, douchey. Like I think he works, but there is like I don't know. I'm not going to insult him further. But okay, you thought it was good casting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I love Guy Pearce in this.
I do too, by the way.
So much to the point that when I was a teen and I watched this would be the only reason why I would recommend the movie. It was just like, oh, you guys see Guy Pearce? He's like cool as in this.
Okay.
Also, not to mention like one of the best suits in all of cinema for a lot of reasons, spoiler reasons as well. Like this is like an iconic suit. Like I want this suit so bad.
Oh, this guy was loving this movie.
Yeah. There's a little too much into this movie. For this rewatch specifically, I think my appreciation, like I said, shot up a lot after covering Nolan's first movie, The Following. Watching both, you can see how he refined so much between these films. The dark psychological atmosphere, the isolating and hostile quality to the world building, and of course that kind of paranoid narration for the black and white segments, which is being the most obvious between the two. And that's where I really think it's like two sides of the same coin. But what surprised me is where this film hit in new ways that now I'm an adult watching it. Like I said, as a teen, I would say, hey, you got to check out Guy Pearce because he is a cool motherfucker in this. And I wouldn't be wrong. You know, that still is a factor. That's still a hook for this movie. For this rewatch, this story hit me, I don't know, so much more sympathetic for Leonard's strange and disorienting and kind of torturous life. Seeing this character as deeply tragic because of his disability was a fold to the story I didn't expect to hit me so hard, and I think it's just a wonderful example of why seeing something again after so much time passes can be rewarding. So, with that said, long overdue, we're going to go ahead and give Memento 2000 a 79.
Ooh, a 79%. This was a better score than what I was expecting for this film.
Really?
I knew it was going to be 70s.
Yeah, right.
How was it not the 70s? I'm really glad you were liking the rewatch. Had no idea it's been that long since you watched it.
Oh, yeah.
First time I watched this, I believe it or not, was in my community college philosophy class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Boy, that class, I'll tell you. I think that class started with 18 people. By week 3, there was 5 people. And then it was slowly 3 people, and I was the only one to show up for the last class.
Oh, wow.
But anyway,
nice.
That was the first time watching
Nice.
it, and then I, like I said, I think I have like 2.5 watches on this. And it is good. What's crazy is you can go back 26 years. It's his second film, and he's got it. Like, he's got it. My question to you is, though, do you think part of the reason why you're also coming across this as maybe his most confusing film is because it's still the most raw and he's the most untested still? Nolan, he's not, you know what I mean? He hasn't been in the pool that long.
Sure. I think a little bit in play is also his brother, writing. I guess this is a short story that his brother wrote and then they got it.
Okay, gotcha.
Or then they kind of decide to work on it together. But yeah, no, I'm absolutely on that page of just like, this is raw. Like Following was raw. I mean, go back to our director's first special, folks, and like you'll hear of like, same with Pi from Aronofsky, is just like, there is a late 90s edge interwoven into these black and white films. I love that, but also it's like part of the appeal. There's something there that it's a little unrefined.
I do, and it's a bit of a time capsule. It's just pre 9/11, heavy Matrix because you have Cypher and Trinity in this, which I think is like what a get.
Yeah.
I mean, you're filming in '99,
yeah,
probably, and you're getting these guys. Kind of like a great move. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, I mean, it does. This movie hits. Rated R, hour and 53 minutes, and a 79%, Vin. Pretty good. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Did you watch these in order for the week? Or are you just kind of a little spotty?
No. I actually watched Memento last just because I kind of wanted the review-wise, everything else to be out of the way. So
okay. Kind of like Nolan, just, it's really messing up the timeline of everything. I kind of like it. I don't know.
Just throwing it around.
And what a jump we have 10 years later. We have Inception. Like you said, he did want to do this earlier. Waited for it, though. This is after Insomnia. This is after Batman Begins.
And Dark Knight.
And Dark Knight. Dark Knight was 2008. And, of course, this is 2010.
Originally, I thought this was definitely not the case after researching it. I always thought Inception was like the one for you, one for me. Dark Knight was so successful, so he got Inception. I guess some of that played into the marketing budget for Inception.
Yeah, but Inception was already kind of rolling a little
exactly.
bit.
He was already, in his rhythm with this.
This one, rated PG-13. This is 2 hours and 28 minutes. I'm going to just, wherever you want to start, I'll just kind of like pick up and add to where I want.
Sure.
So I just have some notes for the upcoming films here. But basically, Inception, set it up. Let's get into it.
Well, let's get the record straight. I adore this movie.
Yeah.
Especially as someone that suffers from a gambit of sleep issues. This is kind of like my Nolan movie. I've seen this countless times. This is probably a good contender for a desert island movie for me.
Okay.
Each time I watch this, it makes me want to make a heist movie myself and dust off an old Word document that should probably never see the light of day, including this time. I don't know. I mean, I just love this movie being even a huge anime fan and knowing Nolan really rips off off Paprika, which is a movie I love as well. In so many ways, it stands as my very favorite from Nolan because of how the experience is so tight and just the most satisfying layered onion of a heist movie I could ever ask for, otherwise known as the onion of action. This is the onion of action.
Okay.
I need a new logo on the site.
I'm with you.
I need a new logo on the site. We're going to AI gen the onion of action.
Let me hear you unpack it and get through some of those layers before I sign on to it.
Yeah. You're like, oh, what? You're not sold by onion of action? Non-appetizing. Inception is a sci-fi flavored heist flick with mind-bending action and stylish corporate espionage that defined a decade of soundtracks to all feature that Hans Zimmer. Still to today, it feels like, honestly. I don't feel like we've shook that yet, even though Nolan's not really working with Zimmer anymore. Like many of Nolan's films, our intro gives us an important clue to keep in our pockets, but before, it's quickly lost to a new world we're introduced to. In this case, a world of dream heists where operatives infiltrate your mind to steal or implant information. Within the dream itself can exist multiple layers, creating a compounding effect for whoever's inside. For instance, a dream within a dream dilates time, allowing each layer to multiply moments, stretching them out into days, weeks, or even years. At the center of this shadowy world is Cobb, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, a corporate espionage extractor specializing in dream technology from a past he can't seem to forget. Cobb is haunted by his time in the dreams he infiltrates, which he himself pollutes with his own consciousness, putting the jobs at risk. So when an opportunity of a lifetime comes along, he takes it knowing his worsening condition. The job asks one thing: if you can steal info from someone's mind, why can't you plant something there? And while implanting, or inception, is a subtle art that only Cobb can perform, his seasoned psyche has plenty to complicate an already impossible heist. I mean, sometimes when I return to a movie, especially when it's marked as a must-watch on the site, Tom.
Yeah, yep.
I've talked to you about this before. I might have even mentioned it. I have trouble kind of finding what actually to talk about because sometimes a movie's so good it's like self-evident.
Right, and go watch it.
Yeah, like I don't need to speak about it.
Right.
Sometimes it's kind of like decision paralysis of there's so much to talk about. Where do I even begin? I feel like that's definitely the what kind of freezes my nerves when approaching 90 above movies on the site.
You want to gush about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we love talking movies and you love...
Yeah.
There's not many movies that you like better than this.
Yeah. And then there's also a nerve element of like, am I doing it justice?
Right.
To some degree. You know, the expectations to that. That line of praise and perspective, it's hard to separate sometimes with the high-end movies on the site. Then there are times like this where the concept and the quality of the film is so tight and so apparent that it really does become kind of relaxing to talk about. Writing this review, watching this movie, a joy. A walk in the park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I feel like this is so evident to the point of just like, I was a little curious, and everyone's doing their Nolan rankings and whatnot, and I've taken a peek at some stuff, and it's just like, it blows my mind of just like how much disrespect people throw at Inception. Like, this is an incredible movie. This is like a perfect heist movie, if there ever was one. You know what I mean?
It's very good. It's no shocker that some of your highest rated films are this and Heat.
Yeah.
Two completely different
Baby
heist
Driver
movies.
as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. We found...
It's my lean on heist.
It really is. And I'm a heist guy, too. I mean, I love this movie.
Yeah.
I'm shocked still. I think a testament to this film is just how good it still looks after 16 years.
Yeah.
This movie looks incredible. And we've made the joke very little here or there, but you go back and watch The Dark Knight, which was just 2 years before this. Or a year. Was Dark Knight
no, I think it was 08.
2009?
Yep. I think it was 08.
Okay, let's just say 08.
Yeah.
Point being, though...
No, I'm with you.
The movie, it looks a little aged.
Yep.
It looks a little aged. Great story, great whatever, but the movie a little aged.
Especially the eye gimmick in the last act.
You're
It's
watching,
just like, yeah.
I mean, I'm watching Inception again. I've watched this now. I did not see this in 2010.
Okay.
I understood the buzz about it, of course,
Sure.
especially in the post Dark Knight world of Nolan.
Yes.
Once when I watched it, hooked immediately, confused, gave it another watch, Definitely by watch after 3, totally in, and I probably watched this maybe 6 times now. I mean, it just continues to hit. And even though I've watched it so many times, it's not even that I'm picking up on so many more things at this point. The only thing I'm picking up on is just how dialed in it is. It is very sharp.
It is tight.
And I'm enjoying it. The only place where it drops off a little bit for me is the repetitiveness of just what we need to do. It builds and builds, but it's the same thing, just double and tripling down, literally. Okay, dream within a dream, dream within a dream within a dream. It's just, we just continue to go. The stakes are always kind of laid out for us. So for me, it just kind of feels maybe a little bit draggy.
Okay.
But
it is long as well.
I am.
I feel like that's the skeleton in the closet for Nolan.
It's all splitting hairs.
Yeah.
Blown away. I think I personally think Leo's just perfect in this. I think at the time, perfect casting for Leo, his age, what he's got going on at this moment. Great get for him. The only real casting decision I don't like in this is Joseph Gordon-Levitt, just because I'm not a Joseph Gordon-Levitt fan.
Sure.
That being said, everybody is, I think, doing a really good job. Nolan is just clocked. He's got it in this. And you feel it, and it's got cool on the screen. It's got style. It's got flash.
Oh, yeah.
And it has what you want in a heist. The coolness and just the badassness and the suaveness, all there. And then when you just mix the Nolan brain in it, and you get this unbelievable thing you're trying to keep track of, it's great. This is where I have my note, by the way, of... It does give you enough to follow along. You are going to be confused. It's very immersive. It goes places, literally, goes to many places.
Right.
But just enough. It just leaves you enough where he's not giving you disposition constantly or exposition constantly.
Right.
And he's not also giving you too little where you have a Tenet situation. Now, if you're not paying attention, you'll get there. If you're not paying attention, you will be confused by this.
Sure.
So put in a little bit of effort, and it just this film completely rewards you.
Absolutely. And to your point about the style, and maybe even just like how good this cast looks. This is such like a handsome movie.
Yeah.
The style, the world of corporate espionage that he creates. I feel like between this and Tenet, Nolan is clearly among a lot of like influential figures in his life, whether it's rubbing shoulders through like his business connections and whatnot. Like what he does to introduce us to this kind of ultra rich world as well looks flawless.
I know.
Everyone's suits are dialed, all the fashion,
yes, they are.
like, you know what I mean? These are all surface level aspects, but I feel like result in creating a realistic world of a fictional corporate espionage, dream heist,
high class film.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
It really is, and I think people always try to get here, and a lot of people fail at it.
Yeah, exactly. If anything, I think Tenet kind of fails at it because he tries to subvert it a little bit with like John David Washington being an outsider intentionally, and like he's not wearing the right suits, and they're always commenting on like he's not high class enough to be entering into this world.
Yeah.
Leo
is the top of the game.
Exactly. It all lands here. It really all lands here. But my love of this film boils down to my love of Nolan's uncanny ability to direct heist scenes, and for the entire movie is being structured around that is a dream come true. You can look at openings of The Dark Knight. We'll get into talking about the opening of Tenet and say, wow, I'd kind of take a whole movie of this, please. And guess what? If you're saying that, you're a friend of the podcast, because that's what I'm saying. I've tried to figure out for almost 2 decades what makes Nolan's action, crime, or heist scenes feel so good for that exact reason. And it's all right here in Inception. Nolan clearly understands the rule of cool with this, and also clearly understands the fundamentals of the genre that make it so satisfying to watch, but often scenes are pulling double time for the story itself. A great example are the getting the gang together type of sequence in this, getting the crew for this. I think these scenes are flawless and so cool. Tom Hardy's introduction alone is really the only example I need to point to of just like, wow, this feels great, and it's forward momentum. Nolan as a writer doesn't slack in these moments. He doesn't let just it be stylistically cool, because each of these scenes gets the audience up to speed on the world building without clunky exposition. And we get to know this in interesting ways. We get to know the roles of each of the gang members to how that serves different needs in this dream heist. Stakes are drilled in home, and everything is always moving forward constantly. The planning stage of the heist, I feel like, never stops its forward momentum in the story, where other movies in the genre sometimes stumble with that. You get a little caught up, maybe they do a hypothetical heist that we see play out, but then actually it's not real, so we have to kind of reset in the plot. The brilliance of the opening test heist in this is that it allows for this planning phase later on in the film to feel grounded because we know how it went, but also ramp the stakes up as the audience is already exposed to it. This is where, there's plenty of credit that Nolan deserves for writing his own movies, but it's his ability to create utility in the storytelling out of these otherwise action heist scenes is why he's one of the best, and why this is one of the best of his filmography.
I think this is Nolan. This film is Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
When I think about, so I've saved this.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I watched Tenet and then, of course, the Odyssey, and I was just saving this in case, because again, I watched it kind of recently. So glad I was just through it. I was like, no, just watch it again and enjoying it thoroughly. Like, it doesn't matter that's 2.5 hours. You enjoy this movie. But I'm watching it, and it's like, oh my God, this is Chris Nolan, because he's always wanted to do the Odyssey. Now we like.
Oh, so this is where you're picking up aspects of the Odyssey.
I'm not gonna lie, this and Tenet.
Oh, really?
And, yeah.
Interesting.
There's a lot of Odyssey.
I'm not disagreeing with that either. I think it's interesting.
Well, you go in his mind, so you know that he has just like a time fetish through and through. That just is Nolan. And then you mix like he's had the Odyssey or at least the Iliad's, just something with that in the back of his head.
Yes.
And then he's always been chasing Bond. I just think when you mix his mind and the Odyssey and James Bond, I don't know how you get Inception, but I'm sitting there watching this movie going, this is Nolan. This is Inception.
Yeah. That's definitely the test. That's certainly the approach with Tenet as well. Maybe doesn't hit it successfully.
More Bond.
There's
the Bond
the lean
side,
on Bond,
But this is, I see a lot of Odyssey in this a little bit, but and maybe it's also because I watched the Odyssey and then watched Inception. Maybe that's playing mind games with me.
Sure, right. You're picking up on, the trademark.
What a joy to be watching the film that is so honed in and dialed in. You're right. Even the introduction of everybody, once when we really get going and shit's going crazy, again, pay attention because Leo's got his own thing going on. The crew's got their things going on. What we do together is fantastic, but the movement of it is great. I don't know.
Yeah. If there's a defining quality here, it's momentum, and then we don't halt that momentum once,
Right, exactly.
Maybe that's why I ultimately like heist movies so much.
Well, it's it's why you like Nolan too. Nolan is always building.
Yes,
always building.
Yeah,
so I did watch Dunkirk again too.
Great example
for
of
the
that.
Weekend. And
absolutely.
Even to the point of that soundtrack just being so pivotal on his watch ticking.
Yeah.
And it just always in the back of your mind and stressing you out almost through the entire movie. But the man knows how to, listen, that's how you make a movie. You build towards a climax. But
right.
Nolan specifically really does it.
Yes. And he understands the cinematic experience. He understands
he
what
might
it's
not
like
even always
to
land the plane, by the way, with some of his, I'm serious, with his movies.
Right.
Inception, I really like it.
Yeah,
I think some people don't like Inception because they don't like the ending. Actually,
really,
yeah.
Interesting. Well, yeah. That was also kind of the double-edged sword in all these movies this week, where it's just like, it's tough not to talk about spoilers just because so much of like when you experience the movie, you're really remembering now back in the whole context of what you were like traveling through with the story. So
right.
But I guess we'll kind of leave that one there.
You know what a movie I was thinking about a little bit while watching this?
Okay.
Don't know if it's totally messed up or not.
Inception.
Okay. I just kind of wish like Tron was a little bit more like this. Because you're going into things, you're stealing stuff. It's about information. Tron Legacy,
or any of them.
Well, sure. I don't know why it was in my
you.
head. Cillian Murphy was in Tron Legacy. Maybe it's something with that. Something in my brain
plays a
was
similar
going
executive, C-level suite. Well, actually, kind of on the note of what you're saying with critiques, a critique of this film that I've heard over the years is that the dream reality that we're thrown into is far from how limitless the imagination should be on screen. Basically, people are saying, hey, you're telling me we're going into the dream world. It's not dreamlike enough. This criticism crosses over into another, where the concept of Inception, in ways, is a huge ripoff and inferior in a lot of people's eyes to Satoshi Kon's anime masterpiece, Paprika. And listen, whenever we get around to Interstellar, I'll talk about how Nolan rips off another anime called Gunbuster. This is kind of a hidden trademark of Nolan that I feel like he's actually a huge closeted anime fan.
I mean, can we say love letters? I mean, do we have to say, or does the internet hate him for that? Like, does he get hate for saying you're ripping off? You're doing this?
I don't know if it's hate, but there definitely is critique. There is saying like, hey, this is, I guess on the shoulder of giants.
On the shoulders of giants. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Love letter, but.
Listen, I'm a Paprika guy.
You are.
I'm in the corner for Paprika. I'm a Paprika stan.
Folks, you are not ready for the anime cred Tom has. You are going to be, your eyes will be lit on fire when you realize what anime Tom has watched. Very select anime.
Now, is it fair to say it's that similar?
Well, that's what I kind of want to get into. The good news here is that if you do feel this way about the lack of imagination, Paprika is another must-watch that you have on your list. Fantastic. Like, you watch both.
Yeah.
However, I would argue each film has something to offer through the same premise, and Nolan's approach to practical effects, to realism, to doing things in camera sometimes captures something special. Two scenes stick out to me that are just absolutely awesome because they are done with practical camera tricks. Tom Hardy's switcheroo shots when he's in the mirror. Tom Hardy is a forger in the film, and he takes on the identity of others. They always are showing him in like these multiple reflecting mirrors where you kind of put them up against each other and they're infinite. And if you look closely, as the scene progresses, he's slowly changing into who he's going to assume throughout the mirrors. Very cool. Very, very nice touch. The second one is the infinite staircase gimmick that Joseph Gordon-Levitt shows off, which, again, done in practical effects, even though it's just a camera trick that he moves it up, and it's like, all right, well, obviously it wasn't an infinite staircase. So awesome that it's pulled off in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something of merit that he is pulling off in real life versus animation where anything is possible.
And that's where you had to give Nolan credit always with the heavy use of practical.
Yeah.
Now, we're also... The one that always sticks out about this film, too, is the hallway.
Yes, thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, the spinning tube.
Absolutely. The most famous of all of these is the rotating hallway fight scene, and that is the one that they say is ripped off the most from Paprika. It is pretty identical.
Yeah, but that's cool, though.
It's cool.
Anime, and then he made it happen in practical effects.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, come on.
I mean, and
F off.
Listen, if you want to go there, it's also a Fred Astaire ripoff as well. It's the spinning dancer
That is
scene.
so true.
He built the whole thing. Built the whole rig.
Exactly.
So
Eat your heart out, Paprika. Are you kidding me? Fred Astaire got it first.
Listen, Satoshi Kon, rest in peace. We'd love to do a special. But my point is with all of these is that on top of our usual thing of like on shoulders giants, there's ways to see film, building into other films. Right. Certain aspects done in live action have their own merits and creates a cinematic experience unique to Inception that I feel like deserves to stand side by side. A lot of this also plays into just like the realism, structuring this as a heist movie versus, I mean, I don't know, whatever you want to describe Paprika as, a true trip. So there are merits to both of these films that I feel like they can really, equally live side by side in a very good way, both as must-watches. So, but folks, like I said already, it is the action onion, or the onion of action. I actually forget now. I was saying it all weekend. This is pretty close to action perfection for me, or at least in a style of like thinky action that doesn't come along too often.
I like thinky action.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Right. I know. I wrote like action perfection. I was like, well, I don't know about that. But I really just want to stress how important this is to me for the film, and if you listen to us for a while, this shouldn't be anything new. Over the podcast, I've spoken about how stakes can be structured within action films, the action genre, to communicate to the audience in a way that hits harder as a result. And we have some great examples under the belt. We've spoken about Die Hard and The Raid, where the setting is paramount to the stakes. We've even talked about how the reveal of stakes being a mechanism with movies like John Wick or Predator. But Nolan, using dreams as the focus, is so instantaneously relatable that a lot of the work is done for him. Within the writing, he is able to play around in a sandbox with so many aspects that are instantly recognizable by anyone that is watching. And there are so many examples of this of how it crosses over into action. Being kicked awake, the logic of how we experience a dream, dying in a dream, waking up, the concept of like a white blood cell within your subconscious somewhere, the layers of the dream interacting with each other. All of this is a sandbox for Nolan to play in and create interesting action settings that, again, it's not just a wild set piece, it's something that we can relate to and understand. All of this isn't just style flourish or fleshing out the premise of like a dream heist. All of it communicates stakes, and the better we understand the stakes, the better the action becomes. That really is my piece of where Inception hits so hard for me. It really follows through on action principles of what I want out of the genre, and where, I could imagine some people say like, oh, it's just an action movie, but there is excellence in any form of art. There's excellence in executing any genre trend. Yeah.
So much more.
Exactly. And I feel like there's so many pieces that fit into, again, some of the work's done for him just by the nature of like, oh yeah, everyone's had a dream, you know? Everyone's kind of like, jolted awake. That using that as a platform for the action is where this movie always hits for me. I've already dubbed it the Onion of Action, but I've kind of always seen it that way. That's a very old way of me thinking about this movie, probably back to 2010. But I think maybe a better comparison is to a set of dominoes, meticulously placed to knock over larger and larger pieces. That attention and intention to detail might be found in all of Nolan's films, but this one still stands as my favorite. We're going to go ahead and give Inception 2010 a 89.
An 89%.
The old score.
Huge score.
Yeah.
Huge score. Folks, if you're just tuning in to Daily Ratings for the first time, just remember, okay, this is how we break it down. 65%. We're not like a Rotten Tomatoes where everything gets like a 98 and above.
Yeah.
We always say like a 65% is basically a good movie, a 75% a very good movie, and 80% is a great movie. Anything over an 85 is basically a movie over any audience you should sit down at some point in your life and watch. So for this to get an 89% is huge. For so many films rated on the site, I think there's like 16 that are 90 and above. So for this to get an 89, it truly like top 20 films of the daily ratings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And rightfully so, because it's a two shoe, two lace.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
That's what we call a Grand Slam, folks. When we're above 85% and a two shoes, two lace.
That's what we call a sports reference on the Daily Ratings
we
podcast.
Can't exactly. Now, El Dorado didn't quite get there, but Inception did get there, okay?
Mitchum was pulling for
We got the double whammy.
Mitchum was pulling for the Grand Slam.
Two shoes, two lace. Absolutely. I love this film before.
Yeah.
Fell in love with it all again just watching it. Every time I watch it, again, I can nitpick. I can find stuff that bothers me. I can find maybe it's flags here or there. Okay, we're doing this again, yada, yada. Film looks amazing. It is sharp. It's tight. It's cool as shit.
Yeah.
And he knocks it out of the park through concept, all the way from concept to actually follow through with what he's got going on. It's so great. And if you just pay attention a little bit, the film completely rewards you. Completely. 89%, huge score.
The old score was an 89.
Yeah.
It stands as an 89.
Very good. Very consistent for you. I need you to give a stamp on Leo, though. You're not the biggest Leo guy. Not that you hate him, but you're not impressed by him ever.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm a hard judge.
What do you think of the casting? And
I really do
Leo
love.
Here?
I mean, and to the point that like I would. One of my genie wishes would be to look like Leo from this movie. It would be either to look like Robert De Niro from Heat or Leo from Inception. He's perfect as this. Where I criticize,
think he is perfect.
Yeah, where I criticize, and that goes into what you were saying of just like right time, right place for his career as well.
He's crushing it here. He's after young. I always break up Leo into three segments in his life: just young, mid. Old, because he's not old, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
We don't have old Leo yet.
But this, like, he is once when you get past The Departed, we're in mid Leo.
Okay,
and the fact that he can throw this out there, a personal favorite in Blood Diamond, and Body of Lies in the same year, but whatever. But he can do Inception in 10.
Yep.
Of course, we have Wolf of Wall Street in 14.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got others in there, but he can cap it off with an Oscar win in 19 for Revenant.
Yes.
And then after Revenant, I think, is when we get Next Stage Leo, personally, is how I kind of find it.
Interesting. So maybe the mark there is like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Maybe.
Yeah. No, well, that or the the Funny Man movie on Netflix.
The Funny Man movie.
With, yeah.
Genuinely confused.
The director, funny guy, funny director, Vice, Step Brothers.
Oh, my God.
Adam McKay movie.
Yep, there you
Adam
go.
McKay. Anyway, Don't Look Up.
Yes, there we go.
Okay.
There we go. We got there.
Jesus.
The Funny Man movie. I was legit confused. I now get where you were going.
Okay. Anyway, that's how I break up Leo. So, yeah, maybe Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But regardless, he's in like a slot right here.
Yes.
Where it's, okay, when is he going to get his Oscar? He clearly deserves it. Like, that's where we're at.
That's true. That's so true because, and I agree with even the front of that bracket being The Departed of like when that talk really, really starts.
Oh, yeah.
Of just like, this is already overdue.
Yeah, because Catch Me If I Can, he's already he's too young.
Too young.
Yeah,
Titanic, too young.
Yeah, exactly.
And not that he couldn't win for that, but, obviously doesn't.
It's the thing. Yeah, it's the Academy.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know when really. Honestly, I can't. I'll probably tackle it when we cover Wolf of Wall Street one day. Of just like what kind of irks me about Leo.
No, you're not the only one to say it. It's just this one, just because you gave it such a high score and you didn't really touch on him. I just want to get your kind of paw prints on him.
Yeah, I would say the only thing this week is that I don't have a lot of notes. This is all like Nolan and concept. Not a lot of note on performances. So until the Odyssey,
I can fill that in then because casting was a lot on my mind.
Yeah,
I don't. If there's
and there's a lot to love in all these movies, but Inception especially.
Probably my biggest issue with Chris Nolan.
Okay.
Sometimes I think it's with casting.
Really?
I don't really think he nails it all the time. Believe it or not. We will get into it with the Odyssey because it's just so big. But
I'll say I was kind of sad not to see Michael Caine in the Odyssey because it's like you look at Michael Caine and it's like, man, that's kind of Nolan's guy. We always talk about the actor-director collab.
Where would he be? I mean, I can picture one character.
Oh,
I can picture
anywhere.
One. He's old. I mean, he's pretty old.
Zeus isn't even in the film. Make him Zeus.
No. Don't make him Zeus. Don't make him Zeus.
He's the only one that has a British accent then.
He is coming out of retirement, though, to make another of one of those films with Vin Diesel. What movie did they do together?
Michael Caine?
They're friends. Like, they're like friends in real life. And I hear he's coming out of retirement to do another one with Vin Diesel.
Two illiterate men that you can't understand.
Okay. All right. Where do we go from there now? Okay. So Inception, 89%. Huge score, Vin. And let's keep it going 10 years in advance now. This is 2020. I mean, yada, yada. It's COVID. He's like, doesn't care. He's also doesn't want to push it off of a year.
Yep.
Again, he cares about time, this guy, in every aspect, in film and outside of film.
His production timeline.
But damn it, he wanted Tenet in theaters. And somehow he managed it. That's the saying, too, with Warner, where he screwed over Warner to make this film successful, make money for Warner, which it didn't.
Oh, interesting.
He then goes to Universal. Where now he makes Oppenheimer and Odyssey making a ton of money for Universal. So something weird kind of happened there. Yeah. But regardless, he's a man that knows what he wants, and he knows he doesn't want you watching his movie for the first time in your own living room. Right. That's what definitely something
No vertical format.
Now, because so much of the lead up for Nolan usually comes a year in advance, there was already Tenet talk way before this film came out.
Yeah.
And pre the pandemic. So hype was there. It's just that COVID took over so much, and just a lot of the country was not quite ready to go to the theaters yet. Yeah. And then on top of that, you have a very confusing film. And it is still... It is still a lot of times Tenet is the one that people say Christopher Nolan is great. Not so sure about Tenet. Yeah, all of his movies are quite good, except for Tenet. That's where this comes down to. I'm not saying it's not just because of it. I think it's not just because of the film, even though the film takes that on his shoulders for the most part.
Right.
It's also the time period that this came out and what was going on.
And people's memory of that. Yeah, I agree.
That's the backdrop of it, though. It is, I believe, fall of 2020 when this comes out. It is Tenet. Vin, take it away. and we'll take it back and forth.
Well, fall 2020 is where I want to start because I want to start with my watching experience of this, a little story time on this. Like you said, Tom, Tenet coming out. This was, I don't know, was this the first time they were saying like save the movie theater, or was that until Top Gun?
You brought this. Well, no. You brought this up last week.
Okay.
Yes. It had potential to, but then it didn't. Don't forget, there was multiple films that came out that were like, this saved the theaters.
Yeah, true. Everyone was kind of racing to the crown on that.
Yeah, or just people are just like, whatever. I mean, it's Maverick, but it's not. Then it's Avatar, because that did way better than Maverick. It's just like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
But Tenet was, people weren't ready yet.
Yeah, people definitely weren't
That's when
ready.
It came down to it.
I should have waited. However, I was ecstatic to see this movie on release. It's another actiony, heisty movie from Nolan. It looked like it had style for days, especially in kind of like an espionage spy attempt to it. And hey, we as a society haven't figured out that John David Washington is kind of a bad actor at times.
Easy. Am I the only one left in his corner?
I think so.
You used to be with me. You used to be with me on this.
When I first saw Tenet, I was with you. It's weird. Listen, I'm not gonna really dig my heels in on this. He's not a bad actor. It's just like kind of a bad actor.
Okay.
It's kind of bad.
I don't listen. Yes, but at the same time, I'll dig my heels in. I think John David Washington is perfect in this role.
Yes.
Okay.
So, what do you know? My whole family had the brilliant idea of going to see this in a drive-in movie theater as a compromise. And folks, if you know anything about the difficulty in understanding the story of Tenet, then you can understand how like hopelessly laughable it was to try to watch this as a first time.
Multiple reasons, too.
Yeah, like so many reasons. The sound quality.
Yes, exactly.
Just the comprehension of the story, like so much.
It's hard enough to hear what they're saying when it's all the way up on your TV.
Yeah. Like so much so that I was watching this and I was like looking at, almost take any dialogue, any exposition scene and imagine not hearing a single word. That was the experience. It's like I was done watching this and I was like, I think I liked it. I'm not really sure. And then little did I know was that everyone's experience.
Yes, everyone's experience.
Even in proper form.
Couldn't understand half the dialogue.
Yeah. What the hell is it about?
Right.
Yeah. But no joke, this is, I want to say probably like fourth or fifth time watching this film, simply because I just had my trouble making my mind up on it or comprehending it. Much like our last film, I think Nolan is able to excel at making kind of a thinky action flick where the momentum of the film feels great and dialed in. But real talk, my old score for this never sat right with me. And while it belonged to the dishonorable section of our score tracker of need to be rescored, it was the perfect slot for this week to finally get around to that rescoring. So, Tenet is the high-concept spy action thriller, absolutely brimming with mystery and intrigue, all based around the concept of a palindrome, right in the name, or structurally kind of imagined as a pendulum in the narrative swinging back and forth. Known only as the protagonist, John David Washington plays a special operative pulled into a world without an outline, where the puzzle pieces are either intentionally missing or haven't been added to the box yet. Tested by a loose organization of influencers, he discovers a new wrinkle to reality itself and being able to reverse or invert aspects of time. Not only does this ability threaten a new era of temporal warfare, but artifacts from the future are descending into the past, sparking a new arms race. But hey, like the movie says, don't try to understand it, just feel it.
Which is so perfect, honestly.
Yeah, every time that's said, I'm just
I feel this movie.
That's Nolan writing it to the audience. Yeah. Which, time travel movies, I feel like need one of those. Inheriting these dangerous gifts from the future is a Russian arms dealer named Sator. And in order to get close to him, the protagonist has to manipulate his wife, who herself is strong-armed, into a vile submission. But what is Tenet? And does anyone truly hold all of the answers? The cliche says only time will tell. Out of a director with just incredible opening sequences, why I really root for this movie, I'll call out being razzle-dazzled at the end of the movie. This one razzle-dazzled me in the beginning of the movie. This is really neck and neck with The Dark Knight of just like one of the most frenetic, most electric, feel-good action scenes that you can throw on the front of a movie. I mean, maybe it's just my love of heist scenes, but
it's
man,
electric. It's so good. It's the scale.
Yeah.
It's the real people in the room.
Yeah.
It's the pace of it.
Yes.
And you're thrown into it. And it's like, let's go.
Yeah,
Whatever
absolutely.
this guy's got going on, I'm here for it.
Like, I'm rooting for it.
Yes, 100%.
The pacing of that scene, absolutely. Ludwig Göransson's soundtrack in this is incredible. Definitely a real big highlight in this opening scene. The orchestra is just this orchestra scene is everything I want. I mean, oh man, I don't want to say this. I designed a D&D, a Dungeons and Dragons encounter around this. Like, I love this scene. This specific scene is just like so everything I want, you know.
I definitely didn't do that. So.
Like I said, I like heist movies a lot. That's why it really never hurt rewatching this, because I knew I always had the scene to look forward to, you know. And also, you know, there's another good pass at understanding the story with you get the, you know, some delicious action scenes in the meantime. There's a highway action scene in the second act that's really great. There's just like some awesome scale to the concept in the finale that are, again, little rewards for making it through a sometimes painful movie to understand. If anything, there is a sweeping quality that defines Nolan's later films, that it's this push of technical advancement to his projects, even if it's not necessarily the direct focus. In Tenet's case, that takes place... that takes a more direct role in the experience. While many of these reverse shots in this can look a little gimmicky, I still find enjoyment in it being something new presented. Is it great? Not exactly. Especially when you see how action scenes kind of suffer from it in parts, like fist-to-fist action scenes. I would just respect the attempt in pulling off something new with practical in-camera effects. You know what I mean? That's where I almost want to like root for the movie.
Well, I mean, I do root for it, and I think it's killing it. I mean, I really think, as silly as it might look, I mean, they practice fight scenes legitimately. They practice them in backwards motion and what would it actually look like. Let's do it forward. Let's run it back and see what it looks like. So if it looks silly, it's because it should look silly. I absolutely love it. I mean, I really, really... thinks he gets this down so much for the film in so much of the movie. Now with Nolan, I feel different about this film than I do most of his stuff.
Okay.
Well, it's funny. I don't know. We'll talk about it with the Odyssey, but the beginning of this movie is so crazy good. The first half of this movie, I absolutely adore. I mean, I love the first half of the movie. My favorite part of the film is just about halfway through. But that leaves it in a little bit of a almost dead reckoning, like for final, like Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, where the sub scene is my favorite. And it's not that there's other stuff that doesn't come after it that I really love.
Right.
It's just that I really like the sub scene.
That's the peak. Yep, I'm with you.
Now,
is that the art heist scene in this?
Basically, and everything is surviving that or around that. Now, the thing is, with every watch, you said you're on 5 or 6 watch of this.
Yeah, for real.
So I think I watched the first half of this movie 5 times, and I think I've seen the end of it 2.5 times because of how long I make it. Do I fall asleep or whatever? Do I care to go back to it? And I did. I probably watched it 2.5 times. Because the middle is so electric. Now, that being said, this watch, every single time I walk back to this and watch it, I like it more and more and more. I start to understand it more and more and more.
Sure.
Which makes that second half more enjoyable.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to fall in love with the second half in a way that I haven't before. And it's starting to even out now. Now it's like, I'll sit down for this 2.5 hours. Absolutely. Now that, I can rack my brain around it. Yeah. I keep a sheet of paper with me, I try to think back to my previous things, my previous views. Yeah. It's becoming an absolute joy to watch this and unpack. And the little, I don't know, the blemishes of the film are something that are wholly making me feel almost
it's
in
like
love with it.
Oh, okay.
It's making me, it's the imperfections that are helping me, continue to fall in love with this film.
Interesting. I mean, I definitely, I love that in the sense that I root for this film because it's a Nolan spy movie. I mean, like, this is almost a dream come true.
Yeah, and we're not saying anything new to say that this is Nolan's attempt at Bond.
Yes.
Or at least the first half of the film is, this is Nolan's Bond.
I know you and I talked about this of like, in the past, the hypothetical test runs that sometimes happen. You know, I mean, whether it's like design in that movie or Barbara Broccoli and the Bond estate kind of look at things and say, hey, that's a good run.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, in ways, I kind of see that with John David Washington here. Overall, I mean, it's the same praise stylistically that we talked about with Inception, of just like the world Nolan is able to introduce us to of wealth and prestige and influence is so fascinating. Not in a way of just like, I love watching rich people or something like that, but it's just like there's something of just like, wow, this feels so authentic and so real. You know what I mean? Despite it being, you know, a movie about time. You know what I mean? Timey-wimey. So I think there's so much to love in the stylings of its spy movie.
Let's talk about the things that I really didn't like and that a lot of people have issues with. People have issues with this film mainly because of how confusing it gets. People think that this is when people are just like, is Nolan up his own ass? Is he that smart? Is he just confusing? Did he just thinks that he gets it and he's leaving us out to dry? There is a thing of like, don't make it overly confusing. We are the audience still. Can you just like throw us a bone once in a while? And where I said where Inception kind of just danced on that so nicely of what to give and what not to give. This one he's not giving a whole lot at all. And you better buckle in, especially for the second half of the film. Now, so people have an issue with that. And then people have an issue with sound design. This is where the things really started with Nolan, where his movies are extremely loud. There's constant music being played while people are trying to talk, and we can't hear the people talking. You mix in an accent or two in there, and it's like
it's tough.
Do you do the subtitles? Do you not do the subtitles? And I don't know why. And again, for whatever reason, I'm starting to like it. I am really okay with it. I'm always one, I never really struggle to hear as many as people do. Like, there's a lot of people that just do subtitles. You're one of them. You do subtitles often.
Yeah, I kind of do now, as a default.
And I just hate them. I never really do them it's for English-speaking films. So I'm kind of okay with it. The one thing I would pick out on that no one else really seems to is the fast editing and fast cuts. There's a film that we're going to be talking about that has a lot of it. And you can see the tea leaves here. This film does have it a little bit. Once again, for whatever reason, this story, the way it's shot and the way it moves, I'm kind of okay with it.
Sure.
Because this isn't a 3,000-year-old epic poem. This is espionage, quick, suave, keep it going.
Planning,
So it almost belongs in that world.
The right editing for the right story.
Thank you. Now, am I missing some other bugaboos, or is that really the main things there? The music, the pacing, the confusion of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Story confusion is the main thing here, and I'll talk about that in a second. Not that I'm going to, like, crack the case on Tenet, right? Because I actually really don't know if I'm in that kind of position. But the soundtrack or the over-bombastic score, I feel like that's just kind of baggage Nolan has carried through, a
lot.
For a while, so...
Not undeserving. It can be loud on this.
Yeah. We talked about it actually with our Oppenheimer review. So there's a degree there of like, it's still a factor. I don't know.
Now, can I say...
I think I've maybe just softened on it over the years.
I've never been upset about it. If it's just his thing, it's his thing. I usually do hate it. Like, this is the John Williams effect.
Yeah,
which
right.
I cannot stand.
Yep.
There's something where Nolan, it's so deliberate, where, no, this is it. This is the whole point. Like, I don't know, something about it. It's like,
and
it's Nolan.
What it is he loves the ramp. He loves this, like, crescendo, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's really
It can be a lot sometimes.
It is, yeah. Luckily, I would say with Tenet, as far as music goes, and really my only other comment is just like Ludwig Göransson, a great collaboration. I mean, like Göransson is going to go down in the history books, at least for the 2020s,
Definitely.
for all of the work that he's doing. And it kind of does start with Tenet. It starts with Mando, but it also starts with Tenet. So, story-wise, though, just to kind of dig into that a little bit deeper, I mean, there's a difference. I think the difference is writing something that's confusing, that sticks to landing, and then kind of whatever you get here. However, I do think there is an argument you can make for the confusion of the story because of what genre this falls into. And I think this is where I think you'll be kind of maybe fall into this camp of just like, you're all right, and if anything, really enjoy it. I would say on top of wanting to rescore the film, like I said with the last two, I felt it was great to show the often visible structure to a Nolan story that he builds within the story. Tenet leads with this not only in its name, but also in a lot of
hanging loose wires that are attempted to be swept up in the revelations made in the final act. You're kind of left the pieces and say, hey, you got it all right there, and kind of tie back to those earlier scenes. I certainly don't have a problem with the story kind of giving the audiences the pieces to find the answers themselves, but with so many of them concerning the nature of time specifically, I feel like it just invites plot complications. This is where the critique comes from, that Nolan doesn't know what he's talking about.
And I think he does.
That he's like a J.J. Abrams, where he's like writing a mystery box and happens to land somewhere in the ending. You know what I mean?
Definitely with this one, it's how does he end this one? People don't love the ending on it for sure. It's also because we just went through an hour of very confusing shit.
Yeah, and I kind of have seen the story play out to some degree, playing forward. So there's a unsatisfying nature to having that played in reverse. You know what I mean?
And I will say, like, you put training wheels on Memento. I don't even know where to start with this film. The only thing I can say, there's only solace, is one, do pay attention, but two, again, with every watch I go down, I am picking up on more, and I finally get I had one real note for this film was I said, finally, I have come close to arriving with this movie. Because I'm still not there exactly.
Right. I can't say I am either.
I don't think it's up his own ass. I think I have it figured out now.
Yep.
And that's nice.
Yeah.
It's just taken a long time.
I think the training wheels for this is like if they ever vaguely show a person quickly getting out of frame, like pay attention to that person. That's a very important person. But
I'll say, kind of just to play devil's advocate here with this, and genuinely how I feel a little bit about like how good this spy-themed Nolan film feels.
Good.
Not having or never getting all of the answers to the mystery is what I feel like makes this an interesting spy thriller. With such strange and unknowable stakes to this technology, there's something that does feel, once again, realistic and authentic in having your spy in the story not knowing everything, even if he's the lead. The spy is the tool to the story. And I think that plays a little bit into one of the more interesting decisions in the kind of meta writing choices. Again, John David Washington, his character is called the protagonist. That's his name in the movie. There's
very cool.
Yeah, there's a meta quality here that supports this perspective of like his purpose is to drive the story forward above all else, not uncovering every single piece.
And the biggest thing is he has the chops to do it. He's just completely thrown in the deep end.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my only kind of slight argument why I still ultimately like this movie, is that because it's in this spy thriller kind of bubble, I almost think it's realistic to expect that you're not going to get all the answers.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And for parts of it, he's hitting on it so much.
Yeah.
It's not a complete failure. Like, a lot of this feels good.
Yeah.
Especially the first half.
Sure.
It feels incredible.
Yeah, it really is just like when things really start having
when
to
it really
like
starts happening.
We'll call it the second pass. But I think. Oh no, go ahead.
I wanted to again. I have casting notes here.
Yeah.
And mostly, I think this is. It's we don't need a huge cast for this film. I think it's his best cast film. Believe it or not, I absolutely love his choices in this.
Okay.
From John David Washington.
Yep.
To a small little bit of Michael Caine.
Yep.
And absolutely love Robert Pattinson in this.
Yeah.
I love how much screen time he gets. And I don't know why, I always feel safe when he's on screen. Whenever he's on screen, he's just helping me understand things.
Oh,
or
right. For Tenet specifically.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean.
I thought you meant like just in general.
No.
Pattinson.
I mean, that's nice. I mean, I'm a huge Pattinson guy. That's developed strongly over the past, over a while now.
Yeah.
I've been like for a while. I've really liked Robert Pattinson, but with him in this story, I've just always felt comfortable.
He does have answers.
He has some answers, and I'm not completely lost when he's on screen. And it's another guy that could just like, okay, we're all figuring this out together, right? Because I'm super. If all I got is Washington, I'm just not so sure about myself here. But I love how much screen time that Nolan gives him, that he wrote for this character.
Absolutely.
Huge.
Absolutely. I'll say even Kenneth Branagh, like, I'm always iffy of just
he gets hate a little bit for this.
Really?
Yeah, there's some people that like are not about him and his accent.
Oh, interesting.
I'm fine with it.
I think he has a lot of menace, and he's also like so like not charismatic at all. Maybe that plays into critique, but I think that plays into a good villain or an interesting. He's supposed to be this like Russian bred arms dealer.
I did like him in this.
Yeah.
Debicki, I'm cool with.
Yeah.
Like, I like the casting. I mean,
I agree.
If
I
anything,
agree.
I wanted to see a little bit more Michael Caine, and I wanted to see more, what's his face? Martin Donovan, who plays Faye. So he kind of plays John David Washington's. What is it? I should be calling him
the guy in the very
character's name.
beginning. He introduces him to Tenet. Him?
Yeah, it's kind of his handler.
Yes.
In the very beginning.
Yeah.
Calls him.
I agree.
He's the one who gets Robert Pattinson.
Yep.
And brings him into the fold. I wanted more of him and more Michael Caine because I don't know, you know what I mean? I just felt like there's enough runway and the movie's long enough.
Yeah.
Where I could have seen some more characters.
Sure.
Because it's not the biggest cast like we're used to sometimes with the Nolan film.
Yep. Oh, and especially experiencing Odyssey and Inception where there's such a juggling act, and a successful juggling act.
Right.
With a lot of characters. So I totally agree with you there. Ultimately, I think the reason why this is a drop-in score, and I don't think I did say it, maybe I'll say it for the end. We got this far. Is that it falls backwards. It's a step backwards from exactly what I talked about in Inception of how stakes are communicated and legibility, composition of the narrative altogether. The style and the pacing that Nolan wants out of this story makes the lessons learned from Inception take a step backwards because the whole experience and the action is just it's less legible to the audience. So many scenes, you're just kind of wondering, what the hell are we doing here again? I think while I really love the scene and why I'm so kind of conflicted with it is the art heist scene. I feel like the art heist scene is a good example of like early on in the film where you kind of already lose the plot a little bit of just like, wait, why are we heisting these art and why doesn't it have to
you're
be
lost
so
at that
much?
point already. Okay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like I lost traction. I tripped up a little. And nonetheless, still like a phenomenal scene. Like I love that whole sequence, especially Robert Pattinson in that sequence.
Everybody. And you know what? I shouldn't say it's my favorite because the beginning has to be talked about.
Right.
But it is that good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I feel like most critically here, the stakes of the entire story itself, the big context of like what we're
Huge
moving
stakes.
towards,
Yeah.
This new Cold War around time tech. It feels like hot air anytime it's discussed on screen, and I feel like it has nothing to tie itself down in the audience. The two sides of that are, one, we're not getting this exposition rolled into action. Like, again, not that it has to be a direct comparison to Inception, but, where my praise for that previously was. And it's a step backwards. A lot of what we experience around this has nothing to relate to the audience. You know what I mean? It's a high concept thriller because we have to kind of get on board with the concepts constantly. There's nothing tying it down to a human experience or anything like that. It's so out there, and visually is out there, but conceptually most of all is out there that just does not connect the stakes. The good examples of this in the second half are kind of some rules around breathing air in the time effect, a fire ice effect. These are choices that you see, and they're not instantly recognizable with the concept. They make you scratch your head and instead pause rather than kind of stick forward and saying, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense." Truthfully, folks, this movie is still something that I can't make my mind up on, even 4th and 5th rewatches in. All I do know is that its flaws force my hand a little bit of a drop here, and I think it's for the better too, even in like just kind of looking at some of the rankings. So Tenet 2020, the old score was an 81. Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good score there.
We're going to drop that down to a 73.
Whoa! Okay, all right, okay. 73%, pretty big drop. That's all right, okay. All right, okay. Listen.
Listen.
I don't have a two shoes for it because I can't make up my mind
Yeah.
on the two shoes.
Yeah.
I've made up my mind on the film finally.
Okay.
Understand. First watch, I hated this movie.
Really?
I didn't hate it. I was like, I don't like this movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, second watch, I was like, still kind of making fun of it because it's just like, okay, all right. Third watch, I started to get into it, and again, fourth watch, fifth watch, I'm kind of totally down. I think give me two more watches.
It just might be your favorite Nolan film.
Maybe one watch, and I'm two shoes, two lace all the way. I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Okay.
But it's on the horizon, and that's why I don't want to quite give it a score. I'm sorry, give it a 73, as I read
73,
it down here?
yep.
73. Yeah, all right. And I get it, and I honestly still think I think where a lot of people are.
Yeah. There's
not a lot of true lovers of this film.
Right.
And if anything, there's way more haters of it.
Oh, for sure.
So 73, I think, it is a good score for this movie.
Yeah.
And again, folks, if you haven't watched it, and if you want to give it a watch, it's tough even for us to give you training wheels.
Yeah.
Pay attention and get ready.
Exactly. Just the training wheels is like, listen, if you think someone maybe mattered in the scene, they did. And really hone in on
And
that.
if you figured it out, email us, because we're not quite sure about it, too. Oh, man. Well, listen, folks, just a reminder here. If you're, again, some of you have been listening every single week and you know what the deal is here for 248 episodes. But if you're new to the daily ratings, if you're thinking about like, oh, this is great. How do I support these guys? Do they have a Patreon? I would love to maybe throw them something. Well, here's the thing. Vin and I won't have any advertising. We're not going to take any advertising money or any advertising breaks on the podcast constantly and, do as many ad breaks and insert ads as we can, as seemingly every single podcast is doing now. We're not doing that because it's a horrible product. It's a worse product. And then you become the product. Just how many downloads can we get to go pitch off to an advertising company to show products to you? We're not going to even have it on our own website. Banner ads and pop-up ads and whatever. We don't want that. We want a good, clean, great experience, a good product for all of you. So, do we have a Patreon? No, because we're not doing paywalls or payment tier structures. Patreon, one, they take like 30% of what you were to give us just goes into their pocket, so that's a scam. But also, Patreon's big on setting up tier structures. You have to give us a certain amount of money every single week or every single month, and then you get bonus content and bonus shows or something. We're not doing any of that. Everything that Vin and I have, the time we put into us, what we have to offer, we want it available for everyone. So is it technically free? Yes, but do keep in the back of your mind just how much time and effort this takes every single week, every single month, and then also the upkeep of costs, the monthly costs and the annual costs that it takes to keep this going along with the website. Does that mean something to you? Are you finding what we're doing valuable? You enjoying your time here on the podcast, hanging out, talking movies with us? Are you stopping in at the website and using that, going through our stuff or going through the compilations? We do look at that as value in your pocket, so can you send us value back in our pocket? So we are completely monetary supported through your donations and through the monetary support of the listeners. We are listener supported here at the Daily Ratings. We are producer supported. Just like in Hollywood, when you financially support a project, you're a producer of the project. So that's how we look at you all. So like I said, we don't have a Patreon, but we have our own website. Please stop by thedailyratings.com and then hit the donations tab. So the donation page, it's all right there laid out there for you. There are some set donations if you want some quick action buttons like buy Vin a movie ticket, become part of the Gum Club, Godfather donation. But then at the top, there's the big value for value button there. And that's the idea. It's whatever amount of value you feel like you're getting. Everybody's on their own finances, and everybody might be getting something a little bit different from here, whether you are listening every week or just once in a while. So are we worth a cup of coffee? Are we worth a cup of coffee a week? If $100 is not that much to you this week or you're doing pretty well, then $100 means the world to us. So you can send that in if you want. You can set up on a monthly and annual basis if you want. Like I said, $5, $10, is it worth it? We leave that up to you. So please do stop by thedailyratings.com and head to the donations tab. When you send in a donation, we also want to hear from you. If you're going to be a producer, we want to bring you into the conversation. Do you have something to say? Do you want to ask us anything? Ask us a random question. Do you have critiques on the show? You want to add to something that we've been talking about or start a new topic? Go for it. Just email us at tom.vin@thedailyratings.com. That's our email address, and just send your producer note in. If you don't want your name read, just say, hey, keep me anonymous, and of course, we'll honor that. But that's how we're doing it here on the Daily Ratings. No paywalls, no payment tier structures, no advertising breaks constantly. If you're someone who listens to a lot of podcasts and are starting to get annoyed at how many ad breaks they take or the random pop-up ads that happen, YouTube is getting so terrible, you're not going to get advertising here. And so that alone, do you appreciate that? It means the world to us. It helps us keep going. So please support us and please become a producer of the Daily Ratings. Head to thedailyratings.com. And if you want to be an executive producer for next week's episode 249, go to that donations tab on thedailyratings.com. Okay, Vin, with that, let's head on in to the theater. This film has been being talked about for the past year and a half at least.
Yeah.
From all the casting news to, oh my gosh, this one arrived in this country. This one's now on the set. Here we go. We have the still images come out with Matt Damon and his helmet on. I immediately got nervous about the whole thing. Pre-sale tickets a year out, and everybody scooped them out and then just trying to hawk them for like 400% increases.
Yep.
Regardless, it is 2 hours and 52 minutes. This is back to a rated R film from Chris Nolan. He is tackling the Odyssey. We have a huge cast, his biggest cast yet, a who's who. I mean, there were jokes about the Oscars, I think last year, or maybe 2 years ago, where there weren't any big stars at the Oscars and everyone just had to focus on Timothée Chalamet because every other star was overseas filming the Odyssey with Chris Nolan. Huge cast, huge story.
Chalamet!
You go ahead and start it. You get into it first. Let's really sit down, buckle in, and get into the Odyssey.
Yeah, well, it's a big movie to talk about. I think actually you bring up a good point of just like this cast is so big. I think my brain just shut off on like trying to approach talking about like individual acting performances.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say I do want to briefly comment on just the slew of controversy around this pre-release, because really no better word than dogpiling. Like blood in the algorithm's water, three main camps of the internet have big problems with this before even seeing it, while the greater sphere of the internet threw fuel on the fire simply by just covering the fact that people were mad. I wanted to bring it up, though, because it's not that I want to dig into any specific piece of this criticism. A lot of the things that we discuss around this might even come up in the review, realistically,
Right,
because I feel like there is some cross-pollination of just aspects of this film. I just want to re-stress something that I've stated for the entire podcast, for probably my entire movie-watching experience. Just watch the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like you only earn an artistic opinion or the right to critique something by giving the art a chance, even if it turns out it wasn't art. You considered it trash. You frankly have no plans to watch the movie for whatever reason, then you just have zero credibility for any point you have to make, and zero interest for me to hear it as well. Like I said, there are some aspects of these controversies that I think we'll both touch on that are areas where there are chips away from the film that I was walking away and saying, I don't know, maybe cliche to say, but a flawed masterpiece was really the walk away from this. It's something that we've always said, just watch the movie. Just watch the movie. I feel like this controversy around it, it was just blood in the water. Everyone was after this, you know what I mean?
I think that might have been a little bit louder online.
Yeah?
I wasn't getting a lot of that because I really stayed away from everything about the film.
Okay.
And I really had the thing of, I know I'm going to see it. It's been talked about forever.
Yeah.
I've been trying to stay away from the talk for a year and a half. I think online, it was a little bit louder.
Yeah.
Especially in those 2 weeks when kind of the review embargo got lifted.
And re-sparked itself. Like, they released that very last trailer. It's like the most disliked trailer on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It almost like relit the fire in a lot of ways.
Now, also, just looking at it from a studio perspective,
all press is good press.
All press is good press. Any news is good. I do have to say, if anything helped, because then the reviews started coming out and the actual critic response started coming out, and it was overwhelmingly positive.
Sure, yeah.
And still the response from this has been, relatively speaking, overwhelmingly positive.
Oh, for sure.
So, but regardless, I mean, I had that. I stayed away even from like a lot of the press tour stuff. I just wanted to get my ass in the seat and see it first.
Yeah.
And then kind of tackle some of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like my point in saying just watch the movie is that your opinion or why something doesn't work for you for any movie, you're not wrong. You're entitled to that, but you're entitled to it because you give the art a chance. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the fact that all of this was pre-release, the very nature of that, it wasn't a matter with the content, it was a matter with the timing of it. You know what I mean? So I'd like to say I have had faith in Nolan doing this story justice, though. Nolan's attention to detail, his track record with actor collabs, and most of all, his love of the cinematic experience itself. All were going to be the North Star guiding this project. And in my opinion, once again, I think we get a flawed masterpiece. It's burdened by great expectation by the very nature of the property itself. But I also think it is elevated above some of its flaws just because of the sheer technical achievement of this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this was like a movie to watch in movie theaters. We talk about this sometimes, but like this was like, wow, this was saving the theater.
When we say, I mean, not only go see it in the theater, we say it with a few films too.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever you're at, if you have a favorite screen in a specific theater, or what is your loudest, what is going to give you the best experience, do it. If it's 50 minutes away, it's worth 50 minutes.
Yeah.
You're going to be sitting there for 3 hours anyway. Or 3.5 with preview. So it is worth it. Chris Nolan is very much a theater guy. And much like Tom Cruise wants you to go to the theaters and he's always going to try to do the biggest stunt and wow you, Chris Nolan just says he wants to make the best looking movie for the duration of the movie and for the sake of it being a really good movie for you to enjoy.
Yeah.
And his practical effects is unbelievable. Something about it also, he's stepping into the Directors Guild role, where he's president of the Directors Guild now.
Wow.
And it's just like, what a project to helm while you're also, that announcement comes out, because especially with all the AI stuff and he needs to have a natural pushback towards that, what better to have one of the greats living today come out with, okay, I'm going to do the Odyssey and it's all going to be basically practical and I am going to do it.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Right.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Just the timing of it and the spectacle of it. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. I think that's a phenomenal point, Tom, especially for the pressure of what this kind of represents and pushes back against.
Yeah.
And I mean, we certainly don't have to down that rabbit hole, but like there is something to this of not only is it a great cinematic experience of just like it's a callback to what you'd think would be in the Odyssey if it was made in a golden age of Hollywood,
right.
Or in the
past.
40s
or the 70s. Yeah.
I feel like that also is a fold or a detail to like he is going to do this justice. He's going to do it right,
And can I say, there's something about it I really like. I mean, you and I have not talked a lot at all about AI in Hollywood. There's a big conversation.
Actually, I texted you today with the
with the
Blomkamp
thing,
which was terrible.
I mean, you and I could really sit down and have an whole episode about that and like, get some thoughts down and everything. But I don't. Whatever. I have to say, in the next like 5 years, there's going to be a lot of directors saying they had to do something with AI because they just couldn't do it anyway else. And there's going to be a lot of people, me being probably one of them, being like, "Oh yeah, have you seen the Odyssey?" Like, don't say you couldn't have done it.
Yeah,
there's something there,
right?
And I kind of dig. Not to mention, we are practical guys all the way.
Absolutely,
puppeteers all the way.
Absolutely.
I mean, practical effects. Yes, please, more of that, sir.
Yep.
Like, can I have another?
Yep. And I feel like there's a certain degree of like the proof's in the pudding. Like, it looks great. We wouldn't be repping puppets so much if they didn't look great in like with modern technology. This isn't like the puppets in the '80s or Jim Henson stuff. Like
right.
these are puppets elevated with modern technology. So as far as the story here, the Odyssey is the big adaptation of Homer's epic that few have had the courage to adapt, regardless of its threads of heroism kind of being found in countless films throughout history. In a time of apparent magic, the world is vast and unknown, creating a culture where history is made real by song, and song transforms that history into myth. We enter into the story in the aftermath of what many a great tale explore. Odysseus has been missing for 20 years from Ithaca's throne, while his heroism in the Trojan War begins to collect dust itself. This empty throne riles up many suitors for Queen Penelope, her court in disarray, causing Odysseus' son to set out on his own to discover if his father has been reduced to nothing more than legend. From this point, both sides of the story are intertwined. As Telemachus discovers clues to his father's journey, we see the events flash backwards of the last 20 years play out for us through Odysseus' eyes. However, his journey is far from over. While the gods might explain what his men have gone through to get home, only Odysseus seems to carry the truth that is bound to be forgotten, muted by his own myth. I think by far, and we talked about this, we always have our debriefs in the in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Most
this was interesting. Walking out of this one,
we were. Yes, I think we were both odd.
Well, there was three of us.
Yes.
We had producer Sean.
Yep.
You said you were just like, well, okay, I'm kind of getting weird vibes from you guys. It's just like you got the same exact vibe from you. What are you talking about? You don't even know what to think about it.
I know. Yeah, it was a little bit up in the air.
We were very quiet.
Not
We were
that
all
it was
very
like
quiet.
south of 50 up in the air.
No.
But like there was aspects of like I can't make my mind up on how this was done. I think for me the most interesting part of this was. And also the most interesting in like concept phase of like Nolan being the choice to adapt the Odyssey was the approach to mythology itself. While there is a lot of political intrigue that swirls as kind of the central plot of the film, seeing Nolan tackle fantasy really kind of for the first time was where this worked most for me. The entire second hour of the film pretty much is all dedicated towards this, and if anything, made me just want so much more. Whether it's a byproduct of his approach to practical effects or not, there is a certain minimalism and once again, realism to his work that I was just dying to see how it would transform the fantasy elements of Greek mythology, I want to be careful with spoilers because I really do believe like these moments made the film for me.
Yeah, talk about just trailer stuff then.
Yeah.
What we get in the trailer, yeah.
Absolutely. But like so many of these moments were like, holy shit, this is really cool. Like this is really, really cool. Really the main one I'll give kind of a nod to is the Cyclops, for instance, which was very hyped up for me. I'm happy to say did not disappoint. Apparently they achieved this Cyclops look through two methods. Up close shots of the actor working with miniatures, which I feel like are more than the second method, which got a lot more press. That second method was a giant wooden puppet as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's the puppets. it's got me won over. I bring this up because this is blended so seamlessly. A perfect example of a little bit less is more. I mean, maybe like an 8 foot, or actually, I don't even know how big this puppet is, but like they made like a big ass.
It's big, very big puppet.
Like a
big arm,
puppet.
big hands.
Yeah. So I that's not necessarily less is more, but like how the scene is played and how reserved and drawn back it is, it creates a incredible atmosphere to this moment.
Can I kind of bring, first of all, yes, the look and feel of it, even the textures,
his skin,
the movement, the slow movement, but yet it has, because he's so big, even though he moves slow, it has so much kinetic energy still.
Yep.
Not unlike Treebeard with the Lord of the Rings, and how they do that. Now, that was blending CGI a little bit, but also a lot of the times they had Merry and Pippin up in a fake Treebeard tree and doing lines and things like that.
That's great. Yeah. Also, another payoff for sound design, being like, one of two moments I noticed, like, wow, my seat is shaking.
It was unbelievable. It was. I got nervous about the seats you picked. I actually wanted to talk to you about.
Oh,
this.
Really?
I get very nervous with a film like that. Mm-hmm. Well, it's we figured out we love our D through F kind of in that specific theater.
That's a sweet spot.
But we kind of don't sit in the middle anymore.
We don't.
Like the middle of the middle. And
we leave that for the real movie watchers.
We must be the only people that don't use our reclining seats and recline with them. It's everyone and their mother keeps their feet all the way up. So you have these wide aisles, but it doesn't matter. I had a little bit of pee anxiety when we sat down.
Oh, me too.
Okay. Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
because you did have to go then.
Yeah.
And it's almost, you know how like electric cars, you have range anxiety, where it's always in the back of your mind and you're freaking out?
That's a great comparison.
I was like, shit, do I have to like tell Vin, don't ever do the middle seat? Now, I was fine. I went immediately in the beginning and then I was good to go.
Yep.
But you had your own issues.
Absolutely.
Where
It was definitely a case of like, man, when do I choose? Because I definitely am not making it to the end.
You got to fight through all these people
Yeah.
and the recliners.
It was like specifically like at the point I had to pee for a while, and I already stopped like drinking anything. I was just like so concentrated on it. And then it was some line in the movie. It was just like, and then Poseidon and Zeus met on the horizon. I was like, oh god. Like,
I think you looked at me and you're like, do you think it's okay to go now? Like, I have zero answers for you.
Why would you know?
Anyway, I bring that up just to say, maybe it's because we were in the middle of the middle. I don't know, but boy, the sound. Our seats were shaking so much, it felt like we were in 40X.
It really was.
It was fantastic.
Especially the second example that I'm thinking of. I mean, no spoilers with it, but
Ooh,
wow,
boy.
it was so loud, and it was like, wow.
It was awesome.
It really was.
I mean, it's perfect. I mean, truly, yeah. It's a Dolby Cinema. AMC has a deal with Dolby, and they make some. And I'm going to get into that and some new shows coming up, folks. I'm going to do a little bit of a highlight on Dolby and the tech, what it is, and just actually what does it mean. It's not just buzzwords.
Absolutely.
That people slap on their speakers or in theaters, and you know what I mean. Their TVs. It actually means something. But yeah, a great experience on that.
It really was. It really.
So anyway,
was.
and Cyclops was the first of that, where it was literally shaking our ground.
It was unreal. And then, like, again, this type of drawn back mythology was so interesting to me. Little camera tricks are used throughout this that are wonderful, whether they're maybe like covering up some CGI or even just like blending practical effects better. The moments with the fantasy elements, though, were all much creepier than I expected, and again made me want just like double the amount of scenes just to see that as the focus. For this middle chunk of the story, we are just thrown into constant wild adventure moments that sell you how on vast and chaotic the greater world feels, and even though I'll admit some of these scenes, they do kind of fit into a formulaic feel. It's like show up on the beach, see some wild shit, and then run back to the boat. There's a little bit of rinse repeat with that.
Yeah.
But it really did struck me as the best moments of films that parody Homer, films that parody Greek mythology, like a Jason and the Argonauts, or Clash of the Titans, these classic, like Ray Harryhausen, stop motion films. Couldn't be accomplished without that stop motion. Now we have Nolan accomplishing it, for real, which is so great, so great. So that was like such a highlight for me. What was like, the biggest standout for you?
Well, the big thing, I told you maybe a week beforehand or something like that. We wrapped up last week's episode, and when it came to I've been nervous about it the entire time, like the Odyssey and how it's going to go, so I kept my expectations low. The biggest thing I just want to see spectacle on screen. I want to see true, like, movie magic, beautiful things on the screen. I know Nolan can do it. There's only some directors that really, really give a shit to do it like how he does. And, I mean, we got it. I was happy to see what we were seeing. I was getting more and more mad after seeing it about the trailer, I have to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's like,
too much.
Boy, I wish you didn't ruin that for me. I mean, you see the Cyclops in the trailer.
Yep.
So some things were hidden. Some things I think wish were hidden more. But stepping into it, there were some absolute wow moments. I was thinking about this on the way home big time because we really were trying to wrap our head around it. It was a lot. It's a big story. It's a big movie, and you kind of have to think about it for a while afterwards. And bottom line, when this movie is hitting, it is hitting. It is absolutely giving you basically every ounce of what you want, to the point where you're just like, oh, I wish we could have just like doubled it, like make it more. And that's a testament to the film, because I walked away saying, I almost wish this was a part 1 and 2.
Oh, really?
That's one. Or give us the Iliad and then give us the Odyssey.
Sure.
I would be so okay if he did that.
Yeah.
And that's something to say that clearly there's parts of this film that was absolutely crushing, because for a 3-hour film, we still were wanting more.
Yeah.
That's huge. That says a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, that's not something small to say about that. That's a huge compliment,
It is. And let me just say
especially
that
for how much we hit on runtime.
And when I say it is hitting, and what I do want to see more of, is basically just right down the line of what you got going on.
This middle chunk.
Middle chunk-ish of when things are moving. We're seeing a lot of things. it's probably the fastest pace as far as what's going on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, stylistically, I'm a little mixed on the production. It's some good, but also some sore thumbs, I feel like, in it. I think when the minimalism and the realism are the focus, as it is for a lot of areas of the film, we get the best choices for the film adapting the story. And I feel like some of the biggest highlights for the whole film are included in this, again, minimalist approach. Zendaya, casted as Athena, is one of the best examples I can point to for not only how the presence of an Olympian god is handled on screen with such realism, but how it actually comes full circle in the story. Zendaya, I don't know, surprise, one of my favorites in this movie because of what this character represents, you know?
Okay, not in it a lot.
Not in it a lot, but I really like Athena as well.
Yeah. I mean, I loved her in it too, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go down a list of who I do not love all that much.
But like for the fact that we don't necessarily see any direct god besides her, how that was handled was like, it was perfection. It was so, not muted, but so drawn back. You know what I mean? It wasn't in your face. It was elegant.
I want to say this too, because there's things that he's doing with the Odyssey that maybe there's elements I don't love.
Okay.
How he's changing the story, and things that I do really like. Where Zendaya is,
where her story is going.
Yeah, it's just it's very smart how they do the Zendaya Athena thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Folks, if there's an edit there, like if I just said something and Ben was just like, maybe not. And we want to be really careful on this one.
I was dancing around it myself. Because I want to talk about it.
And some people won't notice it. Some people won't care.
Yeah.
But Nolan is everything is done with purpose. I have to say, when it's things that I don't love, I do get upset with him because it's all him.
Oh, right.
Nothing is done half-heartedly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's something with the Zendaya Athena thing where it's like,
it wasn't working.
Really good job. No.
Okay,
With this, it's
yes.
really good job. That was purposeful. And also, you got to pay attention and care a little bit to actually see what's going on here.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a subtle choice, and yeah, I just really, really loved it. Another one of these being the iconic Siren song that is associated with the story.
Yeah.
This is equally a very iconic scene, I would say, from the film that is handled in a way that is so simple and so effective and so, again, elegant, beautiful, that there's just no doubt in my mind that, you know, this is the Matt Damon Oscar moment, this Siren song or sequence. Not to... It's a lot of S's, a lot of alliteration there. But like this was like a really big moment for me in the film. It was just there's so many ways they could have handled this, and the fact that they play it more muted, they play it reserved.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a really nice
It's
touch.
more impactful that way,
Exactly.
believe it or not. Yeah.
Let's the imagination
Quick scene too.
go.
They
Yeah,
didn't
it
even,
is.
They really
It is a
kind of
quick
touched
scene.
on it. They gave you it, and then we're out.
Yeah.
But not the worst thing.
Yeah, exactly. But sadly, I think like I said, sometimes I don't think the focus was all on the same page when it comes to that production, or at least, you know, the approach to
Yeah, I'm curious about this.
design and costumes. I the entire movie doesn't shake out that way, and I feel like certain choices are maximal as they can be. This is like the total opposite of playing it reserved or playing it sly. And hear me out. I, visually like some of these choices. I think I love big swings around Agamemnon, the soldiers of Troy, certain creatures. I like that they're big swings.
Yeah.
I just feel like they are in conflict. They are a sore thumb that sticks out, that kind of weakens the total cohesion of everything else playing it reserved. And again, I'm not trying to make it about like costumes. I don't really care about costumes that much, but costumes do matter to this movie.
Yeah, they do.
It's a costume drama.
And they're being talked about too.
Yeah, and certain designs here, it makes me question of just like, I don't know. This feels contrary. This feels like it reduces the cohesion of the approach of minimalism that is so core to, I feel like, every other part of the film, or so many parts of the film. So a little bit torn on that for production reasons.
I think for the most part, for production, I was mostly okay with things.
Okay.
Even with the costume stuff, I get it. Things aren't. It's not what they would have been wearing back then. The Agamemnon stuff. I mean, way out of left field, but like so cool.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
cool with it.
Right. It's a big swing.
Even when you look at where they're at, where Ithaca is. they were using an existing actual structure and like old castle, and then they literally built on that.
Wow.
And that's where they filmed. So
Wow.
it was real practical on a real practical thing.
Wow.
Very cool. The only thing that was really done in LA in a soundstage was the inside main hall.
Okay.
Which you can do
That
at
makes
that
sense.
point. Yeah. And very detailed still. So I don't know, with the production design, I was kind of okay with. I had
Yeah.
other issues going on there. I had other issues with the film, I should say,
Right.
that were really sticking out to me. And I think with productions and some of the liberties that he takes, I do want to just take a note of what he's doing with the Odyssey. Because there's going to be he does change stuff up. And even like the ending and things happen or just like weird decision choices of why didn't he do this? Why did he do this? I kind of like... I'm okay with it, especially for something like this, because it's 3,000 years old. It was told orally forever.
Yeah,
you have different variations orally, and then you have so many different translations written about it, where his main thing is, who is Odysseus? What is his struggle? What is he really trying to do on maybe like 3 levels? Not just one, not just trying to get back home. And then tying it to the man and what it means for his overall society. And I just like the way he's breaking it down. I actually kind of, even though he's doing his own, he's doing his own Odyssey.
Yeah.
But if he wants to take some liberties to make an overarching story around Odysseus that maybe expands on what we actually get in the poem, I was kind of okay with.
Yeah.
And again, because it's Nolan and because everything is so purposeful, it was done carefully, it was done for a reason, and the themings behind it are very important to Nolan. So that I was cool with.
Yep.
And I just kind of take that also back to the look and style of some of the production.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I just need this to look better. I need it to look cooler, so let's do it this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. And I'm 100% with you with like some of the changes to the story itself.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'll comment on in a second, of just like, this is not a Del Toro Frankenstein where like the source material is dusty and so the adaptation is dusty. The source material is even more dusty in this case, but there is a approach to make it more digestible, or even, like you said, kind of have Nolan do his own thing.
And it could be small stuff where apparently he changes the way they escape from the Cyclops.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, okay, did you have to do that? No.
Oh, yes.
Am I saying like all the changes he's done? Is he batting 1,000? No, he's not. Like
Right.
I don't like all the changes. But just he does take some liberties, and if costumes are one of them, I'm kind of okay with it just to make it work for cohesion's sake, and we're into that.
Fair.
Now he takes liberties in other ways that is really ruining the film for me. But I'm just gonna let you. I don't know.
No, I have a section in my notes.
Okay.
Well, I think that the bridge there is, again, what is being done to adapt this, maybe even kind of a modern stamp on things here. I think it's where I mentioned that this might bleed over into some of what the controversy hits on, but I know, Tom, we definitely share this. It's the accent work, it's performances. There's something here kind of doesn't click, and I think we'll probably disconnect on like who was the problem. What?
Okay.
Yeah. Why do you?
Yeah. I was just tell you. I mean, I can't get away from it. My absolute biggest bugaboo of this film is the dialogue and the writing. So we can get into who we like and who we don't like and whatever. My main problem is Christopher Nolan.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the language he decided to use in the film. So, folks, you might be hearing some of the controversy when this was coming out with the one trailer, and they're like, oh, why are they using mom? Why are they using mom and dad or daddy in it? Sure, that's in there, and it might stick out like a sore thumb and take you out of the film. I'm telling you, it's the entire movie feels like dialogue from 2026. I really take issue with the way it's written, like, majorly. Maybe it is the American accents. Matt Damon's doing American accent. We're all doing American accents.
Yeah.
Should be fine with that. I would think I would be okay. But it's specific words way beyond just mom and dad that are throughout, and little phrases that are said, that it just sometimes feels way too modern, way too 2026. And it took me out of the film a lot. And I mean like a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not that even, and I don't want to be. I want to be in the movie as much as possible. And I know it's fantasy, and we're dealing with like fantasy theming and crazy shit's happening.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm actually feeling like I'm being pushed out of the film. I want to sink into this time period. Listen, I'm not an expert on costumes, so I don't really give a shit. It looks old enough, and it doesn't look like it's fresh off the assembly line. Like things look beaten, things look worn, things look dirty.
Right.
Okay, that's awesome. But when it comes to language, I don't like it. I don't like Tom Holland kind of just like being Spider-Man in a way. I don't like, and the language, especially coming out of Matt Damon's voice.
Oh, we get an F-bomb at one point?
Even that, it's just like, whatever. Okay, and I do have an issue with that. But, I mean, I had an issue with Dune Part 2 a little bit with the writing.
Okay.
This takes the cake. It takes me out. When I say when the movie hits, this movie is hitting. This movie is kicking ass.
Yep.
And the more I thought about it, I was just like, man, those moments I really love are when, like, no one's talking. And
that's why the second hour is so good.
And everything with Troy and everything, and everything with the Trojan horse, is so awesome.
Yeah,
it is
so
cool. It's really bothersome because I actually ended up not loving a lot of performances for two main reasons. One, it's such a big cast. We just touch on a lot of people. We don't get, I mean, maybe everybody gets a scene, but a lot of times comes down to we don't really see him for that long. Like, I can't say it was a great performance. He's barely in it. And then second of all, I don't like the writing. Yep. I'm really upset with what Nolan did. And again, things are done so purposefully, and that's why I get upset with him. Because
is it just dialogue or is it arcs to the film?
No. Dialogue.
Okay.
Dialogue, the script itself.
That's what I thought.
And yes, that's what I have an issue with.
Yeah.
Because
I think we're definitely on the same page of like
modern day. Yes,
yeah. There's interesting things done with characters and character arcs, and I think that's a good payoff. But it's also neck and neck with performances that I wasn't crazy about.
Okay, all right. I should have made that distinction. Character arcs, again, is he batting 1,000? No, but there's a lot to love there.
Yes,
so I'm okay with that. It actually just comes down to the dialogue itself. I wish it wasn't an issue. Like I really wish it wasn't a problem. I don't want it to be. It threw me when the whole mom and dad stuff came on. I was just like, whatever. Like, it's in the trailer. It's probably not that much. And if that was the only issue, I would not be even talking about it. It's like, okay, it really is. The whole movie has a new modern day-ish feel to it.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's like this, but it is the high-class Nolan version of this, where everybody makes fun of him in The Martian with Ridley Scott, where he goes, I guess I got to science the shit out of this. The Odyssey is a little bit like the Nolan's high-class version of I gotta science the shit out of this. And the problem is Matt Damon,
Odyssey the shit out of this.
Matt Damon, in a lot of ways, is working a lot.
Yes.
He's trying really hard.
I feel like he beat the odds. I was definitely kind of rooting against it a little bit.
I wasn't rooting against him. I just didn't have a lot of faith in him.
Yeah.
As I will forever say, when I see Matt Damon in a role, I just see Matt Damon playing a role. I never see him sink in to the character like you do with some just great actors.
Oh, sure.
This, he's doing it the most that I've ever seen him do. But the problem is, it still has modern day writing to it. And so when I have Matt Damon delivering those roles, it's pulling him back in to modern day Matt Damon.
Yes,
and
right.
actively pushing me away from the story.
Yep.
I mean, Robert Pattinson was telling a story where he shows up on set. He's close to Matt Damon's trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And Matt Damon is just screaming. He's just like, I thought he was like a nice guy. And with this psychopath. And he's just pulling a Rod Stewart. He's trying to blow his voice out to sound, that's Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
Okay. He was just because he has to age 20 years. And that's just him trying to blow his vocal cords out.
Wow.
Great. Thank you, Matt, for doing that. And I can kind of hear it. When I'm watching them, paying attention to it, it's just like, no. Good vocal change here.
Yep.
Running in circles, repeating myself, dialogue, because I can't get over the fact of how much this was an issue for me. And if it wasn't an issue, if this was just had a little bit older dialect or older, don't say dad, say father. Don't say take the skinny end, take the thinner, say thinner, not skinny. I don't know. Nitpicking, but when it's throughout the whole movie, you're just like, you lucky bastard.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Don't need it.
Yep.
I don't need Himesh Patel saying that.
Yep.
I need some old-timey language, and if you want to do it in an American accent, I'm fine. But come on, use different words.
Well,
It really bothersome. I can't tell you how much bothersome it is to me.
Sure. And I think, honestly, a solution for me would be to do a different accent work. If the American accents weren't there, I feel like there would be, I don't know. I don't know why we always agreed on like British accents
Like, it doesn't
for
make
the
sense for
period.
Greek.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense in
Ancient
that
Greece,
regard.
right?
But there would be, I don't know, a suspension of disbelief. There would be something there to like transport.
Well, it's almost like
me into the-
Shakespearean at that point.
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah.
and it helps.
Exactly. So I think the counter, if Chris Nolan was in the room, I think the counter to this would be like that it is such a timeless story that he wanted it to fit into modern day. But I'm with you as far as like there was something in the moment to moment dialogue that just I don't know, it was pulling me out. I wasn't able to get
thank you for saying
immersed
that.
in the way that I got immersed into just the visual aspect of the film, the experience of like being in the time period, the mythology,
Right.
everything like
There's
that.
so much care and consideration of how this movie looks.
Yeah.
And like there's a Cyclops, there's giants in the movie, and it looks so real. I feel like this is real.
yeah.
And then yet it's your dialogue and use of
Yeah.
some of your words that are throwing me out.
Yep.
Man, when this thing hits, it hits.
Mm-hmm.
And when it doesn't, and you're out. And I just feel him actively pushing me out, and I don't appreciate that.
Yeah. I think one character that I want to dig into that this wasn't working for me, both accent piece and dialogue piece.
Okay.
Believe it or not, and I'm with you. Like, there's a lot of praise around this. Well, we kind of agree on the Tom Holland piece, but I kind of like the character arc specifically to that character.
Okay, yeah.
It was Robin Pattinson.
You didn't like him?
Didn't like him.
Whoa.
He has one line
Whoa.
towards the end that I feel like I kind of cringed at. And it was
all right.
because of like the delivery, how modern it felt, how I mean, I don't think it's doing like a bad American accent or anything, but again,
Okay.
it's just like in the whole thing kind of wrapped together.
Yeah.
He says something like, "Someone get this beggar out of here," and he's just like, "No, this is not."
Okay.
Yeah.
So again,
I think
most of your thorns are coming out for Nolan, though, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of the creative choice behind it. It's really, I can't necessarily blame. Well, I can blame Tom Holland a little.
Okay,
bit.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Tiny bit.
Okay,
No,
I
but
wanna
for the most part, I'm with you that it's not about actor blame. It's about direction, ultimately, in the production, where what
It
the
was his writing.
feel of the dialogue.
It was the writing, and he was the one
Yeah.
writing it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the way, I have a good to very good. I have a relatively fine to good, and I have a and not good.
For
list.
actors.
Yeah, for actors.
All right, get me with it.
Because I need to start with this right away.
Yeah.
In the good to very good, I have Robert Pattinson. And Zendaya. I thought Robert Pattinson absolutely crushed it.
With Zendaya?
Because
Wow.
again, barely in it, not much
Yeah.
to do. But you can say that for all these people, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
But for some reason, I just liked the casting, so I think I liked her, and she had some of the most. She's playing Athena,
Yeah.
so even just her language is elegant. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Relatively fine to good. I am starting with Matt Damon. If the dialogue was better, I probably put Matt Damon in very good. I think dialogue's doing him dirty. Anne Hathaway is very close to being quite good in this.
Yes,
But
yes.
I had to drop her down. She's doing a lot of whispering in this. Can't whisper on a Nolan set. Can't do it.
Can't hear ya.
Because we still have a lot of music going on. And she's doing a little with the wispy.
Yeah.
So that's my only issue with Anne Hathaway. Otherwise, I totally understand the casting. I'm cool with that. Matt Damon, I don't think was the perfect casting. I think there's other people that could have stepped into it, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought Benny Safdie, barely in it, but fine. He's fine. Charlize Theron. I was going to put her in bad, but I don't know what
I
else.
would maybe put her a little.
I don't know what else the
little
character's
stanky.
supposed to do. Again, I don't know what they're not given much to do when we're with her all that much. The woman that plays Cersei, it's like, okay.
People are going crazy for her.
She's
online.
relatively fine to good.
Yeah.
Same with John Bernthal and then Lupito Nyong'o,
Yeah.
right? Same deal. It's just like fine. They're not in it that much, so it's just like how much do I have to work off here?
Yep.
It's not that much.
Yep.
But regardless, the dialogue throughout, I'm not happy with, and it's hurting these actors' performances because I can't even much judge their performances. They're not performing all that much just because they're not given the time.
Yeah, you
and
bring
then
up-
what they're saying, I blame on Nolan.
Right, you bring up a good point of just like, I don't know if more runway for these performances is the solution because there's more of an opportunity to maybe like stumble and kind of be stripped out of the
Right.
world, out of the immersion, within the story. So
And then I have to not good, just ones I didn't like. Your girl Mia Goth. I just thought a bit of a miscast. Wasn't loving her too much.
I love how chaotic she was.
Hamesh Patel.
Oh yeah,
You know, it's funny because I gets almost some of the most lines.
he really
He's
does.
in the movie almost more than
and an unnamed character in the book or in the story.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Besides Matt Damon, he's in it like a lot.
Yeah.
And once again, I don't like his dialogue, what he chimes in with once in a while. He didn't look, some of even just, as far as production goes, his main crew, Odysseus' crew that he's with, basically on his ship, how many guys he has, you know. I would have liked to see more consistency as far as great Greek fighters. We've got some porkly-looking guys.
Oh,
I'm not talking about like
interesting.
skin color or anything like
Right,
that, or
right, no,
races
no.
being cast. I don't really care about any of that.
Yeah.
No one's Greek in the film.
Right. You're talking about just like actual build?
I'm talking about build. I've got issue with consistency on this boat.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hamesh Patel, I mean, he was fine. I would have cast somebody different.
I think it's
and
kind of interesting.
He's done dirty with the lines.
I think it's kind of interesting what your comment with the lines are, is because if he truly is an unnamed character, he probably has the most margin for error in trying to like adapt or what role he has actually in the story.
Right.
You know.
And if we got, again, if you want to speak American, because I think he's English, but
Yes.
everyone's got American dialects. But even like, okay, give me the Patriot. Okay, so Patriot, American accents, because but it's still old Americana. So the language is a little bit more
Old timey.
Yes.
Atlantic.
He could have done something different. And then wasn't a fan. The Elliot Page stuff just took me out. I mean, I'm sorry. And it's going to take everybody out. I don't care whether you're pro, whether you're against. It's on the mind. And people brought up to Chris Nolan, and he's just like, I love that people are talking about it. And it's like, but do you?
Well,
Because
that's all the press is good press.
we're taking it out, though, of the story. All the chatter about it, or the chatter that's going to come from it. It's just,
It was like
a loud decision.
Yeah.
And I kept on saying that. This is very loud, Chris. That's what I wanted to say. John Leguizamo. Don't like him in this role. I think it was a miscast.
Leguizamo.
Yes, thank you. I just think it was a miscast. I don't like him in this role. People do. People are loving him in this. And I just would have cast an older, different actor. I like him as John Wick's mechanic. I like him as this weird.
I was just about to say.
I like him as even a bigger right now. I want to like, hey, get off to the side, be the
Right,
mechanic.
right.
But he's in a Netflix show called Bloodline.
Okay.
That I quite like with my guy Kyle Chandler.
Of course.
And he plays very menacing, kind of quiet, just like antagonist. I really like him in that role, like very good. This, I couldn't connect with the guy.
Yeah.
And then Tom Holland, because he really has
At the very bottom.
Well, no, it's just that I can actually be a little disappointed in him because he is in it second most, third most, something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's something here that like it's such a big cast that it is kind of a wild swing that we're gonna get some good and maybe some meh, to it. We all really are on the same page, Tom. I've like I made
Except for Robert Pattinson, apparently.
Actually, yeah, true.
Like I'm so
and
in his
Mia Goth.
corner.
I loved Mia Goth in this.
That's
actually.
shocking. Yeah, okay.
She's so. It's so what we're talking about here. What is like 3 lines, But she was so chaotic. I was like, oh, that's great. It's just Pearl. But yeah, there's I feel like there is really maybe not stripped out of it entirely, but I totally understand where you're coming from. Of just like the dialogue is breaking immersion a tiny bit.
Yeah, and it's not a tiny bit.
Well, yeah, for you.
Yeah. When there's dialogue, it's almost always a problem. But that's the thing. When there's not dialogue, you're seeing some of the coolest things you've ever seen in cinema.
Yeah.
So how do you balance that?
Yeah.
It almost makes it more frustrating. Yeah.
I'm with you, and that's where I was like, I mean, it's kind of a cliche thing to say in like a movie review or any kind of review, but it is a flawed masterpiece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
There is something there of just like equally masterpiece, and like I can name a handful of chips that take it away from
It's
that.
shit that you can't really like forget about.
Yeah.
Because they're there.
Exactly.
They're in your face, or at least in your ears.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this. I'm talking so much, and I apologize.
No.
One thing I
didn't really have notes on actors,
Okay.
honestly, for how many actors we have in this movie.
One other thing, I'll just say right off the bat, those once again, those elements where there's not a lot of talking, things with the Trojan horse, unbelievable filmmaking.
Oh,
I wasn't expecting to love filming inside of the Trojan horse.
Right.
And I thought it was some of the best things.
Yep.
And very impressive. And that was part of that was I was like, how did he do this? How does this work? They built that horse, and they actually had all those extras.
No way.
Pull it from sea to town.
That's like a what?
Incredible. So
Incredible.
some of the scenes just absolutely electric. One other thing that I couldn't really set aside, another thing taking me out of this movie, 100%, really quick cuts, really quick
Oh yeah, you
edits.
mentioned this. Yeah.
Now, part of this is, and part of Nolan does this sometimes, where we're moving through when we're moving through exposition, when we're moving through just trying to get our feet set here and what's going on with the story. Nolan can move really quick, and it's loud music in the background.
Yep.
I understand there needs to be a lot of setup because it is the Odyssey and it's 500 pages and 24 chapters. The beginning does it a lot, where we're flying through it. We're moving really fast through
It was too breezy.
Yeah, but it's not just that. Then it's individual cuts from going from person to person I don't like, and that's throughout the film. So when Matt Damon is with Calypso, Charlize Theron, I just think the edits are a little bit, the cuts are too quick, and most of the time on the boat they're a little bit too quick. So often I was like, let the camera chill a little. Like, just be on this actor. I don't need a reverse shot constantly from this actor to this actor to this actor. It's like, no. Let it go. We can have some people talking off screen and then cut to them later. When it's moving too fast, it feels a little bit too fast.
Yep.
It is the Odyssey. I want to take my time sometimes. It not only was I not loving the dialogue, I was like, whoa, the cuts here, take it easy.
Interesting.
And you were confused at this when I said this in the parking lot.
Yeah, I can't say I really picked up on it. I see what you mean. The scenes with Charlize Theron, because I feel like that's also kind of maybe slightly intentional. I think it's interesting because I usually pick up on editing. I didn't really kind of pick up on it. Maybe I was just like, there's just like so much to absorb with the movie.
And we are moving that first hour. It's kind of slow.
Fast.
It's slow and yet moving fast at the same time. So I didn't love that, but I can't really tell you how much actually it's throughout the film. The specific cuts themselves, not just the pacing.
I would almost say like that first hour. Not that I think the observation is valid. I think maybe it's a worth itness in the sense that like let's get to that really dynamite middle.
Yeah.
Or just get with Matt Damon and not Tom Holland for the primary character on screen. But I'm with you. I think it's a good observation for sure.
And it's a personal thing. I think me in general, what I'm finding, especially since doing this podcast, is I really like when scenes breathe.
It's the Melville
and don't do a lot.
You just want Melville. Melville's the Odyssey.
Oh, that's very funny. I've just taken more and more appreciate that. When I watch like a lower budget film or like a direct to Amazon release, sometimes I'll turn on something. It's always in the editing and cuts where I'm like, this is a step below. And I just think Nolan was moving a little bit too fast. I was talking with my Sherwin guy. And he's just like, hey, like normal film, you get 10-minute segments of film reel. Like you have 10 minutes to shoot on. With IMAX, it's 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, yes.
And that's not a bad argument, but at the same time, I mean, we're talking about a camera's on a person for like 2.5 seconds at a time.
Yes.
And it gets old a little bit.
It's very fast. And maybe what you're hitting on as far as these cuts, one more, a third aspect to how modern it felt. The visual language of the film, the editing itself feeling modern, you know what I mean?
That's why these dialogue scenes were really rough for me.
Yeah, kind of all adding that together.
That's my pros and cons.
I think that's about it. I had a little bit written here about a line that is repeated quite a bit in the film, which is Zeus's Law. Thank you. This is kind of a moral center to the film. Ultimately, though, I don't think I have too much to comment on. I am curious for anyone that has recently or maybe read this specific adaptation or translation of the Odyssey, of just like, is Zeus's Law referenced like this as it is in the film? Does whatever translation make similar narrative arcs in the conclusions around Zeus's Law? I thought this was a great payoff for the film. I enjoyed it. This really isn't critique. I just wondered why it was. I mean, it felt like we were kind of beat over the head a tiny bit with this.
We really were.
And it results, I feel like, in a very interesting style of arc. If anything, felt a little bit like Oppenheimer in some ways, where there is a burden that is carried. Oddly enough, I mean, I feel like if there was a fifth movie this week, it would just be that, just kind of lead into this. Not really much notes beyond that. I think kind of wrapping this up, my gamble on pairing the Odyssey with this week's movie, I would say slightly paid off, because once again, I knew Nolan was going to try to present this story in a way that felt fresh. My biggest fear with this, even though if I couldn't even verbalize it, was that this would repeat that Del Toro Frankenstein aspect of where, like, great that it's authentic to the original source material, but that source material is a little dusty, and now our adaptation is dusty as well. This is not the case with the Odyssey, and I feel like that really is what helped me kind of navigate some of, again, both of our complex kind of feelings on this. While that first hour is a bit long, this absolutely hits a stride in breaking up its narrative and making it digestible, but making it, kind of layered postmodernly into the story. And for us returning to the issues that are set up in the first act with some serious gusto. While we're blipping around that 20-year stretch of that nightmarish journey, the film allows itself to have a focus on adventure that simultaneously feels fun, but also avoids being overly pulpy or cartoonish. It's not without flaws, and if we ever do spoilers down the road, I wouldn't mind returning to discuss this one. I feel like this is on a bullet list of ones to really deep dive on, because there's so much to it, but I can't deny the craftsmanship here within the cinematic experience, and that same craftsmanship that I knew Nolan would not disappoint with.
Even as I say it, I'm kind of iffy.
I think we're going to give the Odyssey an 80 on the dot.
An 80% on the dot. 80%.
I think so.
Oh wow! Okay.
I think it's
once again,
it's tough. It's I'll say it. It's either an 80 or a 78. That really it's not much more than that. I definitely don't think it's above 80.
Okay, keep the 80.
Yeah,
I keep the 80. I like that. I like that for you. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the dialogue was bothering you quite as much as me, and the spectacle was so high and so much to respect.
Yeah.
That I knew, first of all, I knew this was going to be the 70s, and probably mid-tier 70s or at least higher. So it's like you're right on at least where I was thinking you would be at. Mm-hmm. I would not question this.
Okay. Like I said, I mean, I feel like, especially with how even how we've been talking with this review, kind of being a little bit more freeform than normal. There's something to it of just like I'm definitely still marinating on this. You know what I mean? There's a lot here that to consider. The runtime and just like how much of it is messy, how much of it is focused.
How much are we just wowed right now?
Yeah,
it's fresh,
sure, right.
We're doing a theater
the
watch.
razzle dazzle.
But you know what? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised with more watches that this score would change all that much, because what he puts on screen is still what he puts on screen.
It's true. And if anything, the appreciation will probably grow for, again, those those really breathtaking practical effects of what he's able to pull off.
Wow.
And how far-reaching those practical effects are. It's not like, it's impressive they film on the boat, but like that's just the beginning.
It really was impressive, and they talk about his stamina. Just Nolan himself as a director, 12 hours, never sits down. They don't even see him go to the bathroom. I mean, even Nolan said this took its biggest toll for sure. I'm not doing another film for at least 3 years.
Wow,
this took a toll on everybody, all the cast, the crew.
Oh yeah, I heard something like they cut 9 days early or something like that.
They did, but just because Nolan was just under budget and under time. Because it's like he knows what he's doing. It's impressive.
Dialed in.
But you know what I mean? Helicoptering in, having to hike 45 minutes to where you're shooting in costume. I love it. You know what I mean? Like it was wearing everybody down, but you can feel the weight of this film within the film.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Absolutely.
And the actors certainly felt it too. So.
I think that's where ultimately, again, I kind of landed on the 80 on the dot, because it was just like there is so much right.
Right?
So much in the bones of this film that is right. So
okay, Vin. Well, that just leaves one thing, maybe two things to go down and really talk about. Since I haven't,
I'm exhausted.
I know you. Since I haven't watched every single one, can we just go down my rankings?
Yeah, you got it.
So remember, I only watched 9 of the 13.
I don't think that's bad. You make it sound so bad.
Well, we got a movie podcast now for like 4.5 years. So
we got 13 movies.
Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins. Yeah, Dark Knight.
This is what,
Rises,
top bottom?
No. Ones I haven't seen.
Okay.
Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, Insomnia, and The Prestige.
Yes.
I have not seen.
Yep.
Okay, so my list from worst to best. Okay. My 9th favorite is Following. Then I have Memento.
Yep.
In 7th, I have The Odyssey.
Okay.
Then 6, I have Oppenheimer.
Okay.
5, I have Dunkirk. 4th is Tenet. 3rd is Inception. 2 is The Dark Knight. 1 is Interstellar.
Ooh.
Now, I'm kind of been really hot on Inception since watching it. I do think Interstellar is my favorite.
Okay.
And then after that,
I think it's a great choice.
We have a lot of flip-flops. So 2 and 3 can be switched. Dark Knight, Inception. Any given day, I can switch those. 4 and 5, Tenet and Dunkirk. Any given day, I can switch those. 6 and 7 is Oppenheimer and the Odyssey. Any given day, I can switch those. That's how close that is.
Yeah.
And it's very funny looking at your list. It's almost the exact same thing. Not in order.
Right.
But I mean, like, some are paired very close
They
together.
They are.
Do you want to run down it?
Yeah, I'll go down it. So the following 71, Memento 79, Insomnia 74.
No. You already messed up.
What?
You already messed up.
What?
Where do you have The Dark Knight Rises?
A 60. Oh no, it's not in order. I was just going down like chronologically.
No, we're going in order.
Okay. What?
It's what we do.
I
have it in order. Obviously, I did homework too before you got here.
All right.
So
Go in order.
we go. That's what we do.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Go in
You're right.
reverse order.
I
So
was just
that's-
I just
that's what
had
we
it
did
in
for Paul
release.
Thomas Anderson. I understand. We're not doing that. Okay, so because no one can hang on to the numbers that long.
Right, so it's Dark Knight Rises at the bottom.
Yes, with a 69%.
It needs a rescore.
Chris
Probably lower.
Tied for 11th or 12th, depending on how you look at it,
Yeah.
is The Prestige and Following.
Yes, and I would say Prestige needs a rescore. The only reason why I say that, I watched that pretty recently for the first time. Well, not pretty recently, but again, there's this pressure from the film community of just like the Prestige.
it's
is
good.
his
It's top
best.
5.
No, they say it's his best, and it's
right,
like,
I mean, that's-
what?
I mean, it's good, but you know.
How do you do that, by the way? If it's tied for, do you say it's tied for 11th or tied for 12th?
Probably tied for 11th.
Okay, so that means 10th best then.
Yeah.
Batman Begins.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that. Batman Begins is at a 72. I think that's right on the money for that movie.
And look how close these are. Prestige and Following, 71. Batman Begins, 72.
Oh, that's what I was saying. He's got a good batting
in
average.
ninth place, Tenet with a 73.
Yeah.
In 8th place, Insomnia with a 74. And then we get the next tier. So in 7th, we have Memento with a 79.
Yep.
6th, The Odyssey with an 80.
Yep.
Interstellar, 81% in 5th.
Mm-hmm.
4th is Oppenheimer with an 84. Dark Knight with an 85. In 2nd place, Dunkirk with an 87. And your favorite movie, Chris Nolan, Inception with an 89.
I'll tell you what, that Dunkirk at second, that makes me just feel all warm and fuzzy.
Oh, does it
inside.
really?
I love Dunkirk so much.
It is great. It's a great movie. Saw it twice in theaters.
Yeah, that's such another
I think
example of
70
like.
millimeter both times.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah.
Interesting. That's just another example of just like the focus, the so tight. Such a good movie.
All right.
Well, that's
Well, okay, looking at these, but again, great scores for this guy. I mean,
Yeah, like,
the bell curves are
for real.
unbelievable.
Nolan, he might have one of the best batting averages on the site. So
We're pretty different too, by the way.
It is. Listen. I really like the Interstellar at number 1. I think that's a great choice.
Yes.
If anything,
surprised you on that
Interstellar
one.
might need a rescore.
Okay, so Chris Nolan just. all right.
The only formal rescores that are like, I don't know, somewhere nebulously in the future is The Prestige and Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
So.
All right. Love it. Vin, thank you so much for this big episode. You took a
It's a big
lot
episode.
of time into your notes, not just watching the movies, of course. You really sat down with these and really honed them in. We appreciate you watching these. We appreciate the time and consideration you put into it. Anything else to add on? Touch on next week? Roll credits? What do you want to do here?
Well, I appreciate you saying so. But honestly, it really was a joy this week.
Yeah.
It was not at all work because these were like such great movies and so much care put into them. Next week, I'm a little nervous for the new release, but we have a Nicholas Winding Refn study. If the name doesn't ring a bell, or NWR he goes by now, because no one can pronounce his name, me included. He did Drive, he did Neon Demon, and it's his first movie in 10 years that he's come out with, Her Private Hell. It's gotten a lot of up and down reception to it. I am very excited, though, because I love Drive, love Neon Demon, so...
Okay, yeah, and I have not seen Drive, and I do want to see Neon Demon as well. I have some interest in that.
Hell yeah.
So to check out Winding Refn. Nicolas Winding Refn.
Yep.
But that's next week, folks. For this week, we'll just run down the scores one more time. We have Memento with a 79%, Inception with a big 89%. Then we have Tenet with a 73%, and the new one, folks. Go see it in the best theater near you. It is the Odyssey, sitting with an 80%. It's always a blast week after week hanging out with y'all. I will be back here on Tuesday for the new show, as always, and we'll have Vincent Daly back in the chair next Thursday on the Daily Ratings Podcast. And hey, if you enjoyed the podcast, if you would, give us a good rating or get the word out and tell a friend about us. And just a reminder that the Daily Ratings is completely producer supported. We want to stay away from advertising, and we don't want to have any paywalls or tier structures or subscriptions. It's all just value for value. So, are you finding value in what we're doing here at the Daily Ratings? Then become a producer and donate whatever amount of value that is. Just go to the donations tab on thedailyratings.com, and while you're there, be sure to check out the massive amount of films that Vince has rated. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Daily Ratings Podcast.